Whoa, Sterling, we haven't had one of these since September of last year.
It's been about that.
Yeah, it's been about that, and holy shit was 2016 a crazy year. Filled with a lot of disappointments.
A lot.
We're
Quite
looking
a few.
We're looking at you, Election Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That
are.
was the main true death.
And speaking of death in 2016, holy shit, did we
Yes.
lose a lot too? A lot. Just when we thought that 2016 was over, and a lot of our generation was like, "Oh, it's not going to take anybody." Oh, fuck, Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah.
Literally, like the last few days, it was like, wow. It was like death was like, you guys aren't getting off that easily.
My friend did that.
Really?
Yeah, my friend jinxed it.
Really?
Horribly.
How?
I felt it too. It's like that feeling you get rushing down your back.
No.
We went, me and my friend, who I won't name, went to Denny's after watching Rogue One. And we go to Denny's to talk about the movie after. And while we're there, unnamed person who I'm sitting with says, "Man, everyone's getting old though. What would happen if like one of them dies before they finish the series? What would they do?" And in my mind, I thought,
shit.
why the fuck did you just say that? And I kept that in, and I told him, I really, really doubt that would ever happen, as my way to try to fix the jinx. And 3 days later, heart attack,
Yep.
coma, and then
death.
the domino effect. So, I don't want to point fingers, but everyone, y'all gotta shut up, okay?
Exactly.
Don't test it. You know how horrible that year was. You know that they weren't done.
No.
All you did was make it easy for them to choose the last ones.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, other than 2016 being a disappointment and death shit show, welcome to the new episode of Hidden Horrors You Must Hear podcast with James J. Coker and...
Sterling the Spork Guy.
And, like always, it's the beginning of the new year, and
Yes.
that means, dear horror fiends, that we will do our not top 10, like all the other podcasts do, but we shall do our top 13 favorite horror movies of 2016. Now, before you hop into there, I have to say, 2016 wasn't filled with as much fun horror movies as 2015.
No.
2016 was filled with a lot of dark, fucked up horror movies.
It was. This was all about trying to reclaim it as art at times and whatnot.
I would agree with that. I
know?
really would. Whereas
was-
2015
yeah.
was the fun. Have fun with the horror, guys. 2016 was like, fuck you, we're going to give you nightmares and make you feel like shit kind of
Yeah.
horror movies.
Yeah,
That's what 2016 was.
It was the older guy on the bus listening to the high schoolers talk, going, "Be mature, guys. Come on."
Yeah, that was 2016 horror movies, absolutely.
But you know what? It's a good change up because last year we got a little too much fun. This year,
Or 2015 was too much fun.
yes, or 2 years ago, yeah, that was too much fun. I keep forgetting it's 17 now.
Dude, whenever it's January of the year, we keep thinking it's the previous year.
Yeah.
Everybody does that.
I
You're not
hate
alone.
saying last year when it's barely January.
I know.
It's almost like oh man, when I was this age, when you just had your birthday the day before, you know, like
Yeah.
It's been that long. Anyway,
Or our generation, when somebody says, "Oh, I remember that from the 90s," and I was like, "Yeah," and it's like, "Oh, I remember that like it was yesterday." And it's like, "That was 20-something years ago." We're like, getting older, like at the end of fucking like what was it, Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade? The guy
Yeah.
just going, "Ah!" Yeah, exactly. That's what it feels like, you know.
yeah, rightfully so. But I guess before we get any older,
Yeah.
would you like to start somewhat of a annual tradition here?
I am drawing a blank, unfortunately, readers. What was it again? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Sterling. It's been since September, and September episode was a crossover episode too.
No,
so
for sure.
It's been a little while, unfortunately. So,
I wanted to, since we're gonna be having a list here, I think it's time for us to explain like what we're looking forward to this year coming out.
Oh yeah, just get that out of the way.
Get it out of the way, and then we can kind of spend the rest of the night in kind of a nostalgia trip, which this episode rightfully is.
Okay. What am I looking forward to? There's probably 3.
Yeah.
Actually 4 horror movies I'm looking forward to the most this year.
Yes.
2 of them are festival movies. One of them is a remake that I hear is very different from the original.
Sure.
Actually, 2 of them are remakes from the original. I am you might think of me as cliche right here, Sterling, but I am looking forward to the It remake.
Okay.
Because we haven't seen Pennywise in God knows how long. So
True.
we're getting new Pennywise, and I just want to see how they do it. I'm
Yeah.
not expecting much, but I want to see how they do it. Mm-hmm. And two, the other remake I'm looking forward to is, you might kill me for this one, I'm looking forward to the Suspiria remake. The one that Amazon... Well, let me finish.
well,
I know Amazon made it. And
They're making it enticing.
from what I've heard,
They're pulling together an old
different.
team,
Yeah,
you know?
And I hear it's actually quite different from the original. Like, it's its own thing. And it's from Amazon Studios, the guys who did Neon Demon.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm down to see what they do.
Sure.
I'm not doing what I did back in 2009, getting all excited for the Friday the 13th remake and then having my soul be raped like that. I'm just like, whenever it comes to horror remake, I'm like, I'm going to reserve my judgment, see how they do. I'm not going to expect a masterpiece, but I'm not going to expect a shit show at the same time. I'm just going to go in. The other two movies I'm looking forward to are festival films.
Okay.
That came out last year and I heard good things about. One you saw. I'm looking forward to The Void.
The Void is great. You will enjoy that.
It's slimy, interdimensional monsters and like mask-wearing serial killers in a John Carpenter style Siege movie. I'm down.
Yeah.
I am down. I've been trying to look forward to that movie since 2015. So I'm long fucking overdue. Okay?
I didn't mean to strike any bad chords
I couldn't make it to that date at Beyond Fest. So, and the other movie I just found out through the Shockwaves podcast, a festival film from Mexico called The Untamable.
That sounds cool.
Guess what? Yeah, how do I say this? The Untamable is this Mexican horror movie about a professor that finds this thing that was from a fallen comet, and it's this tentacle thing that releases these pheromones, and it's weird, and it's part drama, part gross horror film, and apparently it's filled with a lot of like uncomfortable, weird / romantic tentacle fucking. And I'm just like, what the and it's from Mexico. So everybody who always think that it's just Japan that loves the tentacle fucking, no, apparently Mexicans are getting in on that tentacle sex too.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, Mexican tentacle sex. I just want to see what that's. I want to see that. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's a live action movie, so I want to see the makeup effects in it too.
Oh, sure.
So watch out, Japan. The Mexicos are catching up.
I've only got 3 on mine.
Okay.
First and foremost, I really, really want to see the Belko Experiment.
Oh,
that looks
Greg McLean.
great.
Yeah,
yes.
Greg McLean.
I mean, anything written by James Gunn, at least, I end up liking.
Even the Scooby-Doo movies?
I enjoyed the first one.
Yeah.
I thought the first one was good for the time.
Yeah.
Because I want to see Scrappy-Doo get his ass handed to him. True. I hate that character.
Did you hear what the original script for James Gunn's original script for the first Scooby-Doo was?
Yes.
There was a lot more adult jokes in it.
There were.
There was a lot
They got
more
away
plot
with a few
jokes,
still.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I would have loved to get my
Part
hands
2
on that.
was shit.
Oh, yeah.
But
I would love to get my hands on that original script.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my lord. That would be great. But what else are you looking forward to?
I will admit this was really generic. You're probably gonna hate me.
No, I'm looking forward to the It remake.
Okay, I'm even though they pulled just such a dick move this week, I am so gung ho for Skull Island at this point. It just looks freaking insanely entertaining.
Sterling Anno, you love your big giant monsters.
You know that's me. So I
can't. And you know me, I love my killer clowns, which
Yes.
is why I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So, but also, there's a couple other killer clown movies I forgot they're coming out. Circus of the Dead is finally fucking coming out this year.
I saw you post about that.
And I'm like, holy shit, I remember seeing stills and trailers for this movie back in 2012. And apparently it's finally coming out for everybody in 2017. Why the fuck did that take them so long? My theory is that they wanted to keep playing at film festivals. And my theory is the filmmakers wanted to find a good distribution deal where they would actually get some money back.
Yeah.
And Lord knows that can take years.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just happy to see about a movie I've heard about since 2012, Circus of the Dead. So
Definitely.
But yeah, you love it was weird. I'm a little weirded out that they would do like a Kong movie and have it be that, but that's just me.
Sure.
You know, you would so like anytime we get giant monsters, I'm down.
That's kind of how it is.
Oh, something Dread Central. We'll get to Dread Central at the end of this podcast. Unfortunately, shed a tear. But something Dread Central told me about that you never mentioned about Shin Godzilla. Spoilers ahead, folks. You didn't tell me that at the end of Shin Godzilla, his tail starts sprouting demon things.
Because why would I want to tell you that when you could see it and shit?
Well, unfortunately, Dread Central already showed pictures of those demon things, and I was like, what the fuck? This never happens in a Godzilla movie. Where the fuck are they going with this?
I have no clue, but I have to trust Toho for now because they have some plans.
Those things look so nightmarish.
Yeah.
It gives xenomorphs from the Alien franchise a run for their money.
These are things I would never want to fight. Just looking at their semi-faceless presence.
Yeah, and these aren't other giant monsters. It's sprouting like human-sized demon things out of its tail
that are probably going to be just as hard to kill.
Yeah.
So this is going to be like the worst apocalypse ever in a movie.
Here's what I'm going to call. I'm calling Shin Godzilla from now on Nightmare Godzilla.
There we go.
Nightmare Godzilla. That's what Shin Godzilla is. Okay. But yeah, so that's what we're looking forward to this year.
I had one more still.
Okay, shoot.
This one's actually coming out this month on HBO. And I can't freaking wait.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
For the last year and a half, I have been so excited for Beware the Slender Man to come out because this is the trailer itself, the synopsis, everything that I've read about the court case, which I did follow in real time, terrifying stuff, and it really shows how it's going to restart the whole, we got to ban violent video games because they're starting shootings. Like, no, now it's going to be, we got to ban people's imaginations because it's starting stabbings.
From what I've heard about Beware the Slender Man is that it doesn't focus that much on the Slender Man mythos.
Yeah.
It more focuses on the power of what the internet can do to small minds, what it can do to children.
And turn them into potential serial killers, which this is going to be focusing on with this main case being the centerpiece.
Absolutely. This documentary is going to scare the shit out of parents.
Yeah.
Yes, it will. Absolutely. Yeah. So
that's actually also my top 10 most excited films of this whole year in general.
Okay.
Let alone horror influenced stuff. So I can't wait. It's just taken so long. Anyway.
Yeah. There isn't any normal movies coming out this year that I'm excited for, with the exception of Episode 8 of Star Wars, just to see what they do.
Yeah.
There isn't anything big, like hard hitting. I mean, every Marvel fan's like, the Spider-Man, and I'm like, I'm so fucking out of Spider-Man. And if DC is coming out with new movies, I'm sorry, I'm done with DC movies. I am done after last year.
Well, I mean, come on, Wonder Woman, the first Avenger, looks like something I've seen before. Anyway, we're done. We're talking about that.
We're done talking about 2017. Now, dear listeners, we are going to head back to literally a month ago with 2016. The best horror movies of 2016. And as we said, 2016 was mostly a year of dark, fucked up, in your face, make you feel like shit horror movies.
Yes.
But since the 2015 list, Sterling, I started first and you went second. This year, it's only fair that you start your list first and then I go second.
I couldn't agree more. So,
and remember, folks, we are going to list like he says his 13 list, I say my 13, then he says his 12, I say my 12, then he says his 10, and then I say, well, I just completely skipped 11, but whatever.
Yeah. Hey,
but that's how the format's going to go.
This is not a math podcast.
No.
We're forgiven.
Math's bad, yeah.
Okay, so shall I go?
Dear listeners, here we go.
All right. So right off the bat, I'm going to piss everyone off. So my number 13, the lowest one on my whole list, sadly, yet still on the list, The Vavitch, ends up being my number 13.
Okay.
Now, I was looking forward to this movie for a good year straight, like everyone else in the whole world was. People who don't even like horror were looking forward to this. Fans of Stanley Kubrick and of basically any of the great Russian filmmakers were looking forward to this too, because it looks so much like their work, at least from the trailer. Then you see the movie and you're like, oh, it still looks like their work, So, but this is a technical marvel, wonderful quality, beautiful soundtrack, great to watch when you have subtitles going, which you kind of need that. You need 21st century subtitles because without them, it does get kind of tough to care what they're talking about. You just kind of want to see stuff. You don't really get to do that. I'm going to admit, this is a very uneventful movie for being such a big event in film this year. And it's kind of a generic art film, more so than it is a horror film. I don't mean generic as in there's such thing as a generic art film. I mean as in this is not really a film made with horror fans in mind. This is a film made for the Criterion Collection in mind.
Yes.
This is a work of art. This is a beautiful movie. This is a great movie. But as a horror movie, it's only good. In my opinion, at least. It's very far removed from what I thought I was going to get, which was a good thing for the most part. But for what surprise it was, nothing really happens in this movie. But I am happy I got to see it because it did leave some images in my mind that I won't be getting rid of. Mainly because they know how to shoot a damn movie, this team. And the acting is all fantastic, regardless of what the fuck they're saying, which I still don't know.
Anya Taylor-Joy does a good job.
Fantastic
job. But I think the real person who stole that movie was Black Phillip.
To an extent. I actually think Black Phillip was kind of a lame idea.
Well, the goat or just the name?
The Homeward Bound goat. The goat that's talking like Mewtwo.
At the very end.
Yeah, where it's like, if the goat didn't talk, but somehow made her, like, I get it. I have to do this. Like, the goat was having that power. The fact that it talks, I almost feel like that was added last minute after a test screening. Going, you should really have the goat have dialogue, because I don't really know why she's going to the woods all of a sudden. And it's like, leave it up to the audience. It kind of, like, held our hand to the ending, which I did like the ending. I don't, I want her to be a master of her own fate.
Yeah.
Not, a puppet goat telling her, hey, your fate's there. So, exactly. I mean, that's just me. Again, this made my list. I obviously really liked it. But, I guess it's not the non-traditional horror film I thought it was going to be for me.
Yeah. I can respect your choice, but for me, The Witch didn't even make my list because it was like, a movie has to have a little bit of replay value with it. And for me, the Witch does not have any replay value. Like I saw
the only value of replay this has for me is just to watch the shots again. Just to look at how they framed something or a piece of music, which then I kind of downloaded some soundtrack. So I don't need that anymore. Again, this is on my list because it's such a well-made movie. In technical wise, it crossed my mind above certain other films. But that's the only reason.
See, the reason I didn't put it on my list is it is a great movie technical wise, but I feel like it wasn't even a good movie story wise. The reason why I say this is because when you do a witch movie, I believe there's only two ways you can do it. You either have it the Arthur Miller way, which is the Puritans are the bad guys and they're killing innocent people out of Historia, or you have it the /Suspiria way, which there are real witches and they're doing crazy witch shit and they have to be destroyed. If you do a movie where it's both, where the Puritans are bad and there is an evil witch in the woods somewhere, well, who the fuck do you root for? And that was my problem with The Witch. It was like, okay, it's trying to do both, and I have no real person to root for.
It's kind of missing the mark on both things it's doing, too.
Yeah, it does. So I feel like technically and shot-wise, masterful. Story-wise, pick one or the other.
I will say, though, people are calling this a masterpiece. A complete masterpiece. And I will say right now, I completely disagree.
Thank you. Because when you said masterpiece, I was like, I don't know if I want to go that
Masterwork.
Masterwork
is what I said. Because you look at how it's shot and how it's scored.
Masterwork.
That's fantastic. But masterpiece means this is The Shining to me.
No.
I can see this any day.
No.
The
Witch near The Shining.
No.
No.
And people will keep saying that.
The problem
can't
when
see
people
that.
keep saying that something's so good, there will be a negative reaction to it.
Yeah.
There'll be a negative reaction. So anyway, that was The Witch. We're going to call it that because of that weird fucking font it has. Okay, it really does. But my my 13 was a little movie that is hardly talked about from last year, and that was the slasher movie that Mark Pavia, the man who did Night Flyer back in 1997, came back and made called Fender Bender.
Oh, Fender Bender.
Fender Bender, yes. Fender Bender
I
is
did
my
see
13.
that.
You did see Fender
Yes.
Bender. Now, a lot of people shit on this movie saying, oh, the characters are annoying and the characters are annoying and it doesn't offer anything. Yes,
Well,
it
then
does
don't
offer
watch
stuff.
any
Don't
slasher
watch
ever.
movie ever. Exactly. It's like, the reason why I love Fender Bender, which is, one, the slasher looks cool. I like the fact that he drives a car. We don't get a whole, with the exception of Michael Myers, we don't get a whole lot of driving slashers, and even slashers that use their car as one of their weapons too.
Last one we got was Death Proof.
Death Proof, yes. It's literally Death Proof, Michael Myers, and this movie, and that's pretty much it.
You know whose design this? I feel like this was like directly taken from.
Who?
Not in a bad way. I mean,
Yeah.
this is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Did you ever play the video game Twisted Metal Black?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember the secret character called Black,
Yes.
who's trying to kill Calypso?
Yes.
It looks just like him,
that, mhm.
and he drives a car.
Yes.
It seems like
It's very much...
what a better place to draw
What
inspiration
I
from.
loved about Fender Bender was if one of our older listeners ever remember watching like a 1 or 2 in the morning horror movie in the late 80s on HBO, that's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels exactly like a late night cable 80s horror film.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it even
Yeah.
has this like spooky tone to it because there's a storm going on and it has this build up and it's like this feels like a late night horror film.
It does.
It has a spooky tone, and not only that, the kills are brutal and mean-spirited, and the very ending, this is a spoiler for you folks, the very ending, he actually kills the final girl and props her body up for her parents to discover, all mean-spirited and fucked up. So it has a dark, bleak, fucked up ending for a slasher movie.
It's
too.
scary going into it, I would assume, the second time, kind of knowing the outcome now and realizing how hopeless this universe is.
And doomed those characters are,
Yeah.
especially that girl. And at the end of
the
that movie,
guy who just gets poisoned.
exactly,
You know?
too. And it's like, at the end of Fender Bender, I was thinking to myself, those parents left their daughter to die.
Yeah.
They left their daughter to die.
It kind of like...
because she got hit by a car and she didn't really cause a car accident.
Yeah. You
So
know
it's-
what I saw the movie as once
Yeah.
it ended?
Yeah.
A big FU towards really mean Catholic parents.
Absolutely.
Kind of like, this is what you're doing with your dogmatic bullshit, okay?
Yes.
You just killed me, you know?
Yes, mhm.
And I'm like, I was kind of clapping, you know?
I also like that the main girl was Hispanic.
Yeah,
And
that was great.
I was like, we usually get white girls as our final girl, but this time we got a Hispanic girl as the mostly final girl.
Yeah.
She does get killed at the end.
Well, final by number.
Final by number, exactly.
You know?
So, but it's like, yeah, I like that you made her a final. They made her a final girl, and at the end, it had this bleak, mean spiritedness at
Oh,
the
yeah.
end. Yeah, and plus the music in it was terrific.
Oh, yeah, it was.
The music had
great
that
score.
It had that synth score,
Mm-hmm.
like as you would expect from a movie that tries to emulate the 80s, but the synth score added dread to it, though.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved.
Question for you.
Yeah.
I didn't look this up. I forgot to.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering if you know this because maybe you caught on more than I did.
Yeah.
What is the killer's motive? Does he wait till he runs out of gas and
Yes.
then has to get
Every
helped by someone?
time he runs out of gas, as he drives away, he gives the gas attendant that amount, and then he starts driving. And as soon as he's out of gas from whatever that weird amount of money he gives the gas attendant, wherever he ends up, whatever town's nearby, that's where his next victim's going to be.
Got it.
And that's just what he's doing. So that's why in the beginning you see him give the gas attendant that specific amount of money.
Yeah.
And then at the end you see him give him that specific amount of money again.
Okay.
So that's what he's doing.
Brilliant.
Plus, before we head on to yours,
Yeah.
I have to say I'm just happy that Mark Pavia came back and made another horror movie. After nearly almost 20-something years, he finally came back and made another horror movie. And the reason why is because he was tapped to direct mini movies, but like Hollywood, they keep switching up and giving it to somebody else.
Yeah.
And he had that unlucky streak for nearly 20 years. So it was like, holy fuck. That's bad. I'm sorry, dude. And then finally, Chiller Films and Scream Factory gave him that chance to make another movie, and he finally did. So, bra fucking O.
Yeah.
Bra fucking O, Mark Pavia. Okay.
Very
he was
awesome.
originally supposed to direct the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
Really?
Yep.
That would have been pretty good.
That would have been good, but the thing is like, and the producers, even Michael Bay said, yeah, we want you, but one of Michael Bay's agents says, no, you have to get somebody that we've already used before. Marcus Nispel. Yep.
Stupid.
I know.
Stupid bureaucracy.
I know. The bureaucracy of Hollywood. It's fucking lame. But anyway.
Paycheck's a paycheck. Who cares who gets it?
Exactly. But I would have loved to see Mark Pavia do a Texas Chainsaw movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been great. So, Sterling, you're number 12.
My number 12 is a film that this is actually the last film that I saw in 2016.
Okay.
So I decided to I don't know, it landed here on number 12, and I was very excited to see it, and I'm very happy I did. Wonderfully made film. My number 12 is the South Korean horror film The Wailing. Now, I was very happy to finally see this. It took a while for me to get, this, to that on my list. But, South Korea is my favorite film industry of all time.
It's your favorite type of foreign films, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're on top of the world. No one makes films really with their amount of attention to detail. With their amount of caring towards every aspect, technical-wise and story-wise. They're complex, yet simple. No one else... I don't see any other studios really doing that. Either it's simple and simple, or complex and I'm done. Just too much. The Wailing, kind of marketed as a ghost film.
But I hear it's more than that.
Yes, it's much more than that. It ends up being more so a ghost lore film. So it's kind of just like the whole kind of possession thing again, but South Korea taking that overdone franchise or idea, bringing it over to them, and then revitalizing it in their own way.
Yeah.
Which is basically, in the end, what the best way I could ever describe this movie to anyone who's wondering, what's The Wailing? Literally, the best way to describe this movie is the South Korean version of Serpent in the Rainbow.
All right, you sold me.
It's exactly what this is.
I'm sorry, but you sold me, because I've actually held off on watching this because I heard that there's a lot of cultural things in the movie that don't make any sense to American viewers.
Yeah.
And that it was 3 hours long, nearly 3 hours long.
It's 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if I can sit through 2.5 hours of something I wouldn't understand as an American viewer. And that put me off on seeing it.
Yeah.
Now, after you said Serpent and the Rainbow, which is my second favorite Wes Craven movie, I'm sold. He got me.
Oh, this is like literally, it's so spot on describing it that way, because this is a possession movie that deals with a family trying to find out why their daughter all of a sudden, and this is a while in the movie that you see the real point of the movie, spring up. Their daughters start going insane, throwing tantrums, slowly progressing to what you'd normally see in a possession film. That kind of state. The part that, James, that you heard that is the whole cultural disconnect, would be when they call the shaman in. They call a shaman in who's like pretty young guy. He looks like, 30s or something.
And he's wearing normal clothes?
Wearing normal clothes.
Wow, okay.
Just a suit and everything. But then he brings all of his very traditional, ancient seeming...
What you would expect a shaman to look like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He starts doing his Eastern native dances, his ritual to try to rid the area completely
of the evil.
And you see it working. It's amazing. This sequence of the shaman is one of the best scenes of the whole year. Watching him dance, stabbing totems, cutting down like traditional statues of demons and stuff, and then every time that you see this happen, you just see like the possessed girl writhing in pain. Like he's basically about to kill her. So of course the movie has to progress.
In English terms, that would be called an exorcism.
It would be called an exorcism.
Yes.
It's literally what you would see in the Haitian Islands.
Oh, okay.
Thinking like
Think
it's
of a
their
South
version
Korean version of that.
of voodoo.
Okay.
And but at the same time, there's multiple parties in this movie who you are directly convinced are the source of the possessions. There's multiple people in here who are claiming or anti-claiming to be Satan or a demon.
So it adds that, like, the Thing level of paranoia.
It's a possession whodunit.
Oh, that's cool.
After it's a traditional possession movie. It throws a whole nother movie at you after this chapter's done.
Literally, it's like it turns subgenres halfway through.
It does. And
That's
then it starts feeling like The Thing, where the main character, who's the father of the girl, gets phone calls from the shaman. Don't trust him. While the person in front of him is going, don't trust him, he's in cahoots. And then another person goes
that's
like,
cool.
no, this guy's good, he's bad. And then you start like going insane, like the father is. He doesn't know what's going on. While the father is screaming and crying, saying, this is all unfair. I literally did nothing to deserve any of this. Which, when you think about it, is true. So it's a really mean-spirited possession film rooted in South Korean lore. So yeah, a lot of it isn't gonna immediately hit, but you can understand it if you go along with it. It's not so foreign to the point where you have no clue what this abstract scene is trying to tell you. It's a straightforward narrative, but it is a long one.
Yeah. All right.
But if it was any other country, I would maybe have that kind of too much that you would have at times.
Yeah.
But if it's South Korea, I know I can hang.
See, if they did an Italian or a Japanese movie version of this, I'll be like, I'm sold. You got me there.
Sure.
You got me there. But my number 12 is a movie that everybody was raving about in early of 2016, and then after it was done, everybody was like, that was weird and different and good. And then for the rest of the year, everybody forgot it. Everybody literally forgot it. And I'm like, that pains me. But mine is an Irish ghost movie called Nina Forever.
Oh, Nina Forever.
Yep,
that
Nina
was
Forever
playing.
is
I remember
my number
that.
12.
I remember that was playing a Digital Gym earlier in the year.
Yep.
This is one that I didn't get to see.
Yeah.
I saw trailers for it, multiple trailers for it.
Yeah.
Looks interesting. What did you think? Like, what was this like?
I identified with the plot of Nina Forever very much, and I'll get to that a little. But Nina Forever is a man just lost his girlfriend in a car accident, and he's going over the grief for that. And and getting over the grief, he meets a new girl, and he starts a relationship with her. But the weirdest thing, whenever they have sex, Nina, the dead girlfriend, comes back through whatever bloodstain or whatever part of the room they're having sex in and torments them while they're having sex. Doesn't physically torment them like a zombie or a ghost, but like makes fun of them, like says, who the fuck is this bitch, does all that 9 yards while they're having sex. And it becomes, and there's nothing they can do about it. At first they think that it's because the guy can't let go, so halfway through the movie he lets go, he gets rid of everything, and it still doesn't work. She still keeps coming back whenever they have sex. And this ghost is a major cock block for this couple. There's a major cock block for this couple. And the plot, and the movie deals with grief, but it also deals with sexual frustrations too. And the reason, and the ending of the movie, do you want spoilers? Do you not want spoilers?
I can have spoilers. I don't mind.
Okay, all right. This is spoilers. They find out that it's not the boy that's cursed with Nina. It's the girl. Whenever she has sex with anybody, Nina comes out.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, oh, it was, okay, all right.
That's cool.
So it was literally they have to stay away from each other for the guy to be better. And the reason why I identified with this movie a lot is because if my fiance is listening to this, she's gonna fucking kill me right now. But it's like, when you're with a Hispanic girl and who has a big family, there's moments of cock blocking. There really is moments of cock blocking. So you have this couple that loves each other and they just can't keep their hands off of each other, and there's one person is like constantly frustrating that sex life of theirs and cock blocking them. Right there I was like, I identify a little bit with that frustrations, a little bit. But so I kind of like Nina Forever that. And there's this, like a typical Irish film, it has this melancholy, depressing tone throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's what you expect from the Irish.
Yeah.
It's really what you expect from them. So, yeah, Nina Forever's up there, and the plot had my fiance joking, because it was like, she read the plot was as the dead girlfriend comes back to always cock block the dude if he's having sex. And she looked at me and says, anything happens to me, I'll do that shit to you too. And I was like, oh, you know. So, yeah, Nina Forever is my number 12 because it's a very different kind of a ghost movie. It's like Irish ghost movie that combines sexual frustration with grief. You're 11.
My number 11 is a film we won't be talking about much right now because we already reviewed it earlier in the year. My number 11 is Tag by Sion Sono.
Yeah. Whoa. Did that come out on VOD or release last year? In the States?
Did it?
Because, I mean, if it's only a film festival thing, that's a little bit of a gray area there. I think it did come out on VOD.
I'm almost positive it did.
It came out on VOD. I think it was like late September, like early
came
October.
Out,
because we saw it at Horrible Imaginings.
Horrible Imaginings was a bit late on booking it, I think.
Really?
I think they were. Because it was already... I had already a lot of people who had already seen it.
Okay.
But anyway,
I can understand why you would love Tag.
yes, Tag.
Tag is a mindfuck of a movie.
It's beyond that. I can't. I'm still questioning what it really was. And there's still those stretches of film that just make you die laughing, because you know that he's just going for absurdity.
Oh, absolutely.
And
but he's going for absurdity while still trying to make you think, what the fuck is going on? You know?
Yeah. Great reveal, great execution on his part. I'm so glad that he keeps not retiring, even though he's supposed to have retired 5 years ago.
So he's constantly pulling what I call a Stephen King. Oh, this is my last book. No, there's 5 more books.
He's pulling a Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
A Kiss. So he's, in other words, he's not stopping ever. So that's my number 11.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Good. They keep it simple. If you want to know more about Tag, just go to our September episode, which is the Cut Sequence crossover episode, too.
Yeah.
My number 11 is another sexual ghost movie. And you know what this is? Lace Crater.
Lace Crater.
Lace Crater. Now, Lace Crater at first seems like a mumblecore movie, and that's going to turn off a lot of people. And in ways, it is a mumblecore movie, but the direction, the autumn atmosphere, the not so much the sexual frustrations like Nina Forever, but the sexual anxiety of the film is what got me on it. It's a girl who doesn't really have that much of a sex life in her 20s. I know a lot of people in their 20s can actually identify with that. I don't know why old people think that that people in their 20s are fucking like bunnies, and it's like, no, that's not the case.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of baby boomers were fucking like bunnies. We're a lot of millennials aren't fucking at all. So
yeah.
It actually captured a little bit of that. It captured a little bit of that social awkwardness that people in their 20s can go through. She meets this ghost guy, and it has this
best way to describe it, by the way, ghost guy.
Ghost guy.
You can't say it's a ghost.
Can't say no.
You can't say it's a person.
Because he acts like a normal, the ghost acts like a socially awkward 20-something-year-old dude, and he meets a socially awkward 20-something girl.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, they fuck, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happens, but they fuck, and it's what I do like about that scene is there's a lot of build-up, like you know it's gonna happen, and I love that build-up.
Yes.
And when it happens, it turns into a friend drama meets Cronenberg film, because weird shit starts to happen to her skin and she starts throwing up black stuff, and it turns into a Cronenberg film.
Yeah.
And she starts getting ostracized from her friends, and that's another thing that captures what it's like being millennial, being ostracized from your friends.
Yeah.
So this is like a millennial Cronenberg movie meets a sexualized love movie. If
I'd
that's
agree.
the best way. It's a millennial Cronenberg film.
Yeah.
That's the best. And at the very end, another spoilers. This episode's going to be filled with spoilers, folks. You better get ready, okay?
Yeah.
The very end, she reconnects with the ghost guy, and he sews her a little ghost masks and put it on her, and it kind of ends with both of them being together, and the friends can't find her again. So it has this bittersweet kind of cute ending to it.
Yeah.
And everybody said, "Oh, it's mumblecore as fuck. I'm gonna hate it." I actually liked Lace Crater.
I didn't mind it.
It was, it was a movie made for millennials.
Yeah.
It's made for millennials. That's why I like that. So, Your 10. We're at 10, right?
Yes.
Okay. Your 10, Sterling.
My number 10. A film that I have seen multiple times now. And this is one of those films where you've really got to be able to appreciate the kind of film it is to really enjoy it. And after seeing it twice, I now know, yes, it does belong on my list. I do enjoy it. I can watch it multiple times because I'm just into this kind of movie. BC Butcher is a film directed by Kansas Bowling for Troma this year.
BC, but you told me about BC Butcher.
Yes.
It's a silly movie, actually.
It is a silly little slasher. The quote-unquote first ever slasher taking place in prehistoric times.
It's basically Flintstone slasher.
Yes. It's Flintstones slasher with a lot of Russ Meyer.
Wow.
So this is a giant 1960s tribute film to all of those films you would have seen back then. that were, very much on the fringe of like, this kind of silver screen feminism on screen to kind of like throw out, actual strong females into a very strange situation in which sexuality will prevail on their own accord. And this film is, a general slasher, evil giant caveman whose actor's name is Dwayne Johnson. Not the same one.
You had me looking at you like, whoa, what? He's in this? No fucking way.
There was a lot of questions after the screening.
Okay.
So she had to dispel that. But this little group of cave women is being one by one destroyed,
wow.
until eventually it turns into kind of a paranoia film almost, where the head cave girl is starting to call not only incompetence on the rest of the group, who is, she's claiming as just lazy and leaving. She's in total denial that people are actually getting killed. So she's just claiming, like, you're all just idiots, okay? Like, she's the total, like, Tura Satana of this movie. And by the end, when it's basically just her, it's now it kind of turns into, like, almost the end of, or the second half of Joe Lynch's Wrong Turn 2.
Oh, wow.
So she ends up being kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna fuck shit up now,
So it goes from a weird Russ Meyer Flintstones movie to a Flintstones slasher film.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's great. The characters are really memorable. One of the cave women, for some reason, is clairvoyant. What? She has the same eyes as I forgot her name, the girl who owns Dickie, the dog. The main girl with the pupilless eyes, who can just see things.
Oh, from the beyond.
Yeah,
yes,
from the beyond.
Yeah.
Basically, that's her character. There's no explanation, but she can sense bad things are going to happen until, bad things happen to her. And then Kato Kalin is one of the side characters in this movie. He makes only a couple appearances, but his one main appearance in this movie is one of the funniest scenes of the whole year. Being a caveman, being completely almost like a metrosexual caveman.
What?
Just flirting with one of the main girls, going, oh my god.
What?
It's so hot out here.
Wow.
Oh, excuse me, I'm woolly. And then, like, drinking out of a water bottle in one scene. And this is like 65 million years BC. Yeah.
Okay, then now it's like, I'm not surprised Trauma put this out.
Completely super low budget. This was filmed in Kansas Bowling's dad's backyard. It's that kind of movie. And of course, she filmed and wrote this when she was 16.
Oh, good.
So this was kind of like the ultimate in starting young is starting right. And she's basically become a superstar now this year, appearing on some of like the biggest podcasts ever and stuff. And that's all because she went through with a project like this, and was smart enough to reach out to Lloyd to get it distributed by his company. So,
Bravo.
Good on them. It's a fun film, and it just finally got physical distribution. So check it out when you can. And when you listen to it, trust me, you're gonna want to download the soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
It is awesome.
Okay.
The Trash Boys, Garbage Boys, forgot the name of the band. Great band. I would love to have booked them at the Dial. Anyway.
Okay. My number 10, Sterling, is the Mike Flanagan, not the Mike Flanagan ghost movie that everybody loved and I hated. I'm talking about Ouija 2.
Yeah.
It's the other Mike Flanagan movie that came out last year that went directly to Netflix called Hush.
Okay.
Hush. I really liked Hush because it was like, think of You're Next, but with only one of them, no synth music, and he's chasing a deaf girl the whole time. And you have a lot of tension in Hush, and the death scenes, there's two other people that get killed in the movie, and their death scenes are very brutal.
Sure.
It doesn't make it like a fun kind of a death scene like in Friday the 13th. These things are like gory and fucked up, and the people are sitting there bleeding out, crying for their lives and stuff. And I kind of like those mean-spirited death scenes sometimes in a slasher movie.
Yeah.
And the whole movie, especially near the end, you're thinking to yourself, to the deaf girl, she has to make it. She has to make it. She has to make it. And every single time you're thinking, oh, she's not going to make it. She's going to get killed this time. She makes it through. She fights back and kicks ass, and then she makes it through. And then it happens again. You're like, oh, fuck, she's going to get killed this time. No, she fights through and she makes it this time. That happens like 4 fucking times in the movie. So it's a slasher. It's a home invasion slasher film that keeps your ass on the edge of the seat, like especially near the last half of the movie. And I liked it. It's like,
Sure.
And it's in an isolated setting, a house in the woods. So, yeah, it's a fun movie. You're on Netflix and you want a little tense little horror film, put on Hush. Put on Hush. That's not that much. My only complaint about the film is in the first, 20 minutes, the killer wears this creepy white mask, and then the rest he just takes it off, and then he's just a normal killer dude. And that's I would have liked the mask on a little bit longer, but that's okay.
Sure.
So, yeah, check out Hush, guys, if you haven't already. Your number 9, Sterling.
My number 9 was, it seems like the most obscure film
really,
of
because
this part of
we've
the
hit
year.
Lace Crater and BC Butcher. I don't know if we're gonna get more. I don't know if we're gonna get more obscure than those.
Okay, this is a obscure film out of many. So, I stumbled upon this film on Letterboxd via someone's account who says, "I made a film this year. Would you like to check out a screener?" And I decided to do that.
So we're already actually more obscure than Lace Crater and
Possibly.
PC Butcher.
I haven't done the numbers, but
wait. Did it come out on VOD this year? Okay, cool. All right.
So
I want to make sure all of our listeners can check out these films.
yes. Yeah. So Cat Sick Blues.
What?
Cat
Sick Blues?
Yes.
Okay.
Cat Sick Blues is a super independent horror film that is fucked up. Okay, so this movie is this is a whole different way to look at slashers. So this film starts out with a couple girls sitting on their couch watching cat videos on YouTube. Just this viral cat video sensation. This certain channel that's dedicated to a certain cat who just does a bunch of weird crap that cats do, like running into boxes and crap. While they're watching it, a scary-ass slasher breaks into their house wearing a cat mask.
What?
Brutally kills them.
Holy shit, this is the ultimate slasher movie for cat lovers.
And then starts watching the cat videos.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Are you fucking kidding
this
me?
This is before the cold open.
This is the opening scene?
Yes.
Holy shit. If my brother ever listens to this, my brother is a giant cat fan, I think we just sold a slasher movie to him.
Possibly.
Yes.
So... yeah, so this just... Wow.
Keep talking. I'm going to go on Google Play right now to see what the VOD price is right now.
Okay.
Keep talking.
This keeps happening, and you start seeing this cat killer killing more people until you eventually get to see him without the mask in his dungeon, where he has, scratching posts and pictures of cats everywhere.
Whoa.
And he goes on these, those sex chat rooms, and he makes the girls dress up like cats, and have sex with themselves. And he doesn't even look like he gets pleasure, but he looks like he has to see it. Like he has that trigger.
This whole time, my mouth is gaped the whole time as Sterling is describing this movie.
And, yeah, he keeps killing these, all these people, but you don't know why. There ends up being a point to it, but that's something I'm actually not going to talk about. There has to be something that I'm not spoiling here. Anyway, but later on in the movie, you get introduced to the second character. And the second character is the owner of the YouTube famous cat that they were watching. She is right now treating the cat for an illness. The cat can't really do anything, and she's afraid because her YouTube channel apparently pays her bills.
Okay.
So now she's kind of screwed. She gets moral support from friends, but they're not really helping. Eventually, a mentally unstable fan knocks on her door and shows her that he like painted the cat, like a tribute to the cat, and he's like a huge fan of it. And he walks in, and basically one thing leads to another. He wants to meet the cat and pet it and stuff, and he's like enamored. You mind if I just say this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so he ends up killing the cat by accident and throws it out her window.
Oh, what the fuck?
And then he rapes her.
Oh, this just went from funny to Cindy to dark, and
He rapes her brutally on camera, and then takes the camera, runs away, forgets the camera at a bus stop, and then the video on the camera gets picked up and becomes viral, where the owner of the cat is now famous instead of the cat for being raped. And the movie goes from there. Basically, because of this viral video, it links the cat killer to her. And he sets his eyes on this famous cat owner, who now is no longer has the cat.
Whoa.
And then the movie goes from there. But this movie, wow, the third act, it breaks every expectation I ever had.
How the hell are we? We are just what the? I don't know what to fucking say.
Yeah.
It's like we're one-upping each other in this podcast. I know the more obscure movie. I know the obscure movie.
I mean,
I
like,
think you just beat me. I think you just beat me.
We're not even trying to really do that,
but it's like, okay, listen, I got to be honest with you. We're a little late with the whole top something of last year, but most people's podcasts do that in late December. We're doing ours in mid-January when we're recording it. But I'm glad that we're doing this because a lot of those other podcasts, those top podcasts, are like obvious choices. Eyes of My Mother, The Shallows, Green Room Invitation. A lot of obvious choices. We're naming shit that no other podcasts have named for their favorites. And I'm glad for that because maybe our listeners will actually search out these super obscure horror films that came out last year and be like, holy shit, I like Lice Crater. Holy shit, I like Cat 6 Blues. Holy shit, I love BC Butcher. Why didn't anybody else talk about these movies last year? So I'm glad we're shedding light on the weird shit from last year. I think Cat Sick Blues just took it.
I mean, I love this movie. It's definitely something special. And Dave Jackson, I believe, was the director. Bravo, sir! You have broke me.
You sealed me too. So wow. What are we on, 9? Holy fuck! How do I follow that one up? So. My 9 is a movie that was on a lot of people's lists, but it was high on their lists. Mine is a little low on my list, but I still enjoyed it, and that is The Invitation.
Okay, cool.
The Invitation. If you people haven't even known of The Invitation already, shame on you. What do I say? Guy who just lost his son and divorced. He's in a bad place in his life. Goes to his ex-wife's party, and he's starting to convince that it's some cult shit going on with the party and they're going to try to kill anybody, but stuff happens to convince him that it's not really that way and he's being paranoid, and it keeps taking those twists and turns up until the very end where shit actually goes down. And a lot of violent shit actually does happen. I won't reveal too much, but the reason why I put the Invitation on there is it builds up that sense of dread slowly, and then all of a sudden, oh no, it was really this, you're just being paranoid. And it's like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden, it drops down that dread, and you're like, okay. And then it builds up the dread even more, and you're like, oh shit, it really is happening. And then it's like, no, it was just this the whole time. And I was like, oh, okay. It does that with your expectations and your level of dread several times before it gets to the ending where it's like, okay, yeah, now it really is happening.
Yes.
So... yeah, any movie that takes that dread and just goes woo, 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 woo with your emotions, I gotta give it kudos. And plus, it has that tension at the end, too.
It has a great third act.
Oh, yeah. The first 2 acts is tension and dread slowly building, and then it settles. And then it slowly builds, and then it settles. You know? And I love that. And that third act is really not so much hard to watch, but it's tense.
Yeah.
It's very tense to watch. And yeah, The Invitation's up there. A lot of people put it on their top 5 because of like how it plays with your emotions. But for me, it's like there was a lot other movies that were more up my alley than The Invitation, which is why Invitation is my number 9, was it? I just forgot. See, we're getting caught in the movies, and I just forgot. Yeah, why that's my number 9.
Sure.
Sterling, your number 9.
My number 9 is a film I already know is not on your list. I actually really did like Don't Breathe.
Oh, well,
Now-
okay. It's not like I didn't like it. It was because everybody was saying that it was so good and it was so scary, and I watched it saying, this is tense. I feel for these characters. Sorry. I feel for these characters. I don't know what's going to happen, but I wasn't necessarily scared. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like this holy shit moment. What I do give Don't Breathe is that it was a horror film that made bank at the box office.
Yeah.
And it got people talking, and anytime a horror movie makes bank at the box office is a good thing for every horror fan.
Yes.
So
I personally just really, really, really enjoyed the concept. I thought it was gloriously executed.
And I'll have to say, Stephen Lang can fucking kill it.
Yes. No, he's fantastic as
a very underrated actor.
As a very old, aging Matt Murdock
Yes.
going around trying to kill everyone. But the best part about this movie is that it takes a while until you have any reason to believe there's anything else to the movie other than a man protecting himself from possible threat. And it becomes way more than that.
Yeah,
but it becomes way more than that slowly.
When I'll just say they go to the basement of the guy's house, and that's when it's like, oh, okay.
Which eventually, which I'm not going to say, and you won't either.
We'll give spoilers and not give spoilers.
But does lead to probably the grossest thing of the whole year.
Yes, and I was worried about. I saw that with my fiance, and she cannot handle.
Don't say what it is.
She cannot handle those kinds of scenes in movies. And then when it went to that scene, and I was like, oh, this isn't technically that kind of a scene, but it technically is at the same time.
Well, it has all the ingredients.
It has. You just used the key word that's kind of gross there. It has the ingredients.
Of course, I meant roofies. Anyway,
yeah.
Anyway, so this is again, like you said, you care about the characters. The characterization was well done.
The characterization was well done because halfway through the movie you're thinking to myself, I care about these robbers, but I also care about the old man too.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to kill each other, but you know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really high quality characters. Like they took a lot of time to make sure they all matter and they're interesting. They're not throwaway victims. They're all very much different and they're spectrumed out. They have their own motives and they have their own skills, and their motives and stuff. The way that they execute their burglary of this blind guy's house is smart. They're smart characters, and I'm happy to know that once shit goes down and they're basically playing Raptor Kitchen with this guy, none of them make any stupid decisions.
Yeah.
The only thing that frustrates you is that basically it's dropping the keys when you're running to the ladder times 10.
Yes.
It's that trope so bad.
Or whenever you think that one of the burglars is finally safe, they're not safe. And that happens several times.
It's a very, very dreadful movie when it comes to I feel like this is a joke. No, they're not home free yet. They're not home free. They're not. You know?
Yeah.
And but one good thing is that no matter how many times that happens, I'm always surprised by it somehow. Yeah. At least my first viewing. I was very taken advantage of with my emotions by the fact that I was so happy that they're winning that I'm so drained now that they're not. And but again, very well made movie, super high quality.
It is.
This thing is super high quality. His attention to detail is great. Alvarez, I had faith in him ever since his remake of Evil Dead.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that. But seeing now what he does with like an original IP,
oh, absolutely,
awesome.
Yeah,
this guy has talent.
I definitely want to see what he does next.
Yeah,
definitely want to see what he next does. Yeah, I respect Don't Breathe. It just wasn't what I was expecting all the way, but it was, again, that was the hype that got to me a little.
Yeah.
Maybe on a second viewing.
I saw it so late that I didn't have hype.
I saw it on the opening weekend.
Okay.
That's why. I think with a second viewing, I might change my opinion. Okay. But my number 8 goes to a movie that was a little bit mentioned throughout the year, but not a whole lot of people saw it, and that's the Christopher Lloyd Max Records movie, I Am Not a Serial Killer.
Yeah.
Which, that title makes you think that it's a Dexter kind of a movie. No, the movie takes a supernatural turn in the 1/3 mark.
Yeah,
it takes a supernatural turn. The plot is, socially awkward teenager in a snowy a sleepy small town who also helps his mom with the undertaking business. There's these murders going around town. At every murder site, there's this black sludge found on the murder site. And so he tries to investigate and finds out that it's the old man that lives right next door to him, played by Christopher Lloyd, that is killing these random people.
Count Doom.
That is killing these people, and he doesn't kill them in a traditional sense. This is spoiler, his arm extends into this nightmarish spiky thing, and he slashes them up, and then eats their organs, and he finds out that that Christopher Lloyd, the old man who lives right next door, is some supernatural creature. And the whole thing, this kid also has some sociopathic serial killer tendencies himself. He never killed anybody, but he's worried that he might do it himself. So there's that duality of, there's this kid who's walking the edge of being a good person and being a serial killer, and now he's having to confront this actual serial killing monster, and having to do research about this too. What I loved about this movie, though, is, if I can describe the plot of this movie, this is the remake of Fright Night we should have got.
That's a good way to put it.
This is the remake of Fright Night. Kid, the person next door is an actual monster, and nobody believes him.
Yeah.
But this time, the kid is also having some sociopathic tendencies themselves, and so it deals with themes of duality itself. The movie's a little slow, I will give it that, but the ending where Christopher Lloyd's monster actually pops out of his body at the end was very nightmarish, because you can tell it was CG animated, but the movements were very stop-motion-y. And that's where I was like, oh, this is weird. And cool thing about Christopher Lloyd's character is, he's a monster and he's ripping organs out of people to keep alive, but he's married, and he's been married to this woman for like decades, and he has feelings too. Think of a man who is just trying to survive and loves his wife, but is also a monster and has to eat organs to live.
Yes.
That's the best way to describe. And yeah, this is a fun little movie, and it's another one that people need to check out a lot more.
I agree.
It's a, how would I describe it? It's a darker, more down to earth version of Fright Night.
There we go.
Yeah, that's where I Am Not a Serial Killer. I watched that in late December, and I was like, I'm glad I watched this before we did this podcast, because it's definitely getting in my list.
Definitely.
So, Sterling, now we are on to our 7. We're getting close to that top 5. We're getting close.
We are.
Yeah, so what is your 7?
My number 7 will probably surprise some people, because it's kind of up there. My number 7 is Green Room.
That made your 7?
Yes.
Oh, Sterling.
It did.
That made your 7.
You can't blame me for liking other things more. So.
Okay, all right. I thought that would be in your top 5.
It was close.
It was close. Okay, all right.
So, Green Room. I mean, it's kind of hard to describe this. It's Green Room.
Most horror fans.
I mean, like,
most
it's hard
fans,
to. Yeah, it's hard to
most
describe
horror
what everyone
fans
knows.
are already aware of Green Room.
Yeah.
It's normal moviegoers that it's an actual obscure one.
Yeah.
Because at my work, I try telling normal people shopping the movie aisle, hey, check out this Green Room. And they're like, oh, I never heard of it.
Yeah.
That's why.
Basically, punk rockers
Get a gig.
Get a gig in the woods with a bunch of Trump supporters, and they end up
neo-Nazis.
Yeah,
a bunch of neo-Nazis.
Yeah, one thing leads to another, and they are not allowed to leave based on the fact that they saw them kill someone. So they are now under the worst house arrest I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and
basically, it's like the Nazis. They know the neo-Nazis are going to try to kill them because they saw a murder.
Yes,
and now they have to try to survive.
Yes, and the hard part is surviving, considering they will pull out, the neo-Nazis will pull out every stop to make sure they all die.
And there's a lot of neo-Nazis there.
Tons of them, and there's only about 6 good guys in the whole movie. So, it's I mean, amazing film. Jeremy Saulnier is a great director.
The attention to detail and the direction, too.
Definitely, yeah. The quality of the entire film, and the effects of the injuries.
Good God!
It's at a new level.
Effects, that spoiler, folks. That stomach scene. Holy shit! People, I saw that with you in the audience, and the audience in the theater was screaming during that stomach scene.
Yeah.
Of the straight razor to a stomach, and it's like I've seen stomach slashes in movies before, and it's usually just flesh and blood. This was like fat cells and skin
Yes.
and everything opening up, and it was like, oh my god. Plus, when Anton Yelchin, the late Anton Yelchin, gets his arm fucked up,
Yes.
because you know that they're fucking up his arm, and then as soon as he pulls it back and you see the damage, you're like, oh my god. So the damage done to these characters is very, very visceral and very hard to watch.
It is. Definitely.
And
The execution of the whole story is really well done.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart is a very, very good villain. His accent is okay, but his performance is great.
He kills it. He kills it as a villain in this.
Yes. He proves that he has some chops in other genres than sci-fi.
Then
for
sci-fi.
once.
Then sci-fi and superhero movies.
Yeah.
Plus, Anton Yelchin,
yeah.
he kills it in this movie, and he's extremely likable. And literally a month after we watched this,
Yeah.
a month after he lost this, he literally fucking died in a Final Destination style death. And
Yes.
it was like, what the fuck,
It was unfair.
Yeah,
it
that was
very sad
unfunny.
timing.
Yeah.
I will admit, on a second viewing, I do think that some of the kills are a bit anticlimactic in this movie.
Okay.
I think it's kind of a spoiler here.
Yeah.
A little too many characters get killed by a pit bull.
Yeah, a lot of characters got
And
tippled like that dog,
Kind of like, it almost seems like an anti-pit bull movie.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with, because I'm afraid of them. But, for, every bit that's kind of iffy on a rewatch, there is 10 times more that is worthy of a rewatch.
Oh, absolutely.
At the same time, I can go on for a few more scenes in this movie that didn't really hold up for me on a second viewing. Mainly the underground hallway scene where the guy with the shotgun keeps going back and forth.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just kind of like ridiculous writing that wouldn't work in real life, and kind of took me out. Of course, first viewing, I'm just in there, you know. Now I get to analyze it, and I'm thinking, but still, love the movie. Fantastic, all in all. Most accurate portrayal of punk I've ever seen in a horror film.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
And that means, they developed that a lot before it even turns into a horror movie. So, great film. In no way could this have not made my top 10.
Oh, absolutely.
Ever.
Okay.
So,
where were we on 7? We were on 7. My number 7 is a movie that a lot of people saw last year. So this is my cliche pick, everybody. A lot of people saw this movie last year, and a lot of people loved it, and I am right on that crowded train with everybody else. It stars Mega Babe, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And that is 10 Cloverfield Lane. Now, some people argue that this is more of a thriller than a horror, but there was enough here to make it a horror movie.
I could argue that it could be horror,
That it could be horror.
Although I do see it more sci-fi thriller. I do think, no. If you debate this as horror, you win instantly. You don't have to convince
Especially
anyone.
with that ending. As soon as we get to that ending, you're like, yeah, this is horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is horror. If you haven't seen I don't need to explain the plot to you people. This movie made bank at the box office last year. You need to fucking see this. But what I did love about Cloverfield Lane is, other than Mary Elizabeth Winstead being Mega Babe, that's actually a good actress, you also have John Goodman doing killing it as the savior / maybe psychopath in the movie.
Yeah.
Because the movie constantly takes a turn where you're just like, oh my god, this guy's a psychopath, and he kidnapped this woman and put her in a bunker, and he thinks that's the end of the world. Oh shit, it might actually is the end of the world, and John Goodman isn't that bad of a guy. He's an okay guy. Oh shit, he actually is a psychopath, and he's been keeping women down here the whole time. Oh shit, he's a psychopath. And then that's dealt with, and then she gets out, and it's like, oh, the world's not that bad. Oh wait, yeah, there's fucking aliens. Surprise!
So in other words, he was a psychopath, but there were aliens, so you
Outside.
lose either way.
Yes, I felt bad for Mary Elizabeth Windsor. It's like, shit, nowhere she goes in this movie is it actually safe.
Yeah.
What I did find a little anticlimactic about 10 Cloverfield Lane was that the majority of the movie is this tension in the bunker with John Goodman, and then like the last 20 minutes is just her dealing with the aliens, with a giant spaceship and some alien dog, and I was like, this movie took a radical left turn that I wasn't necessarily prepared for.
I wasn't prepared for it, and I'll admit I didn't like it.
You didn't like that turn?
I didn't like that turn.
Okay.
It was okay. There's there's another movie that I really like that does the same thing.
Yeah.
It's called From Dusk Till Dawn. And
That movie does that turn very well.
It does the turn very well because not only is the turn halfway through the movie, not at the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's gradual. It eases you in because it was the whole point the whole time. The whole point was get to Mexico.
Yeah.
They get to Mexico and they're celebrating, oh, worse shit is happening now.
Yes.
And now the villains who were taking captive the good guys
are now
good guys helping the other good guys.
There's a bigger threat.
Yes, I love that. But
with 10 Cloverfield Lane.
So with this, it feels kind of cheap. Almost like he was like, okay, you know what? We got to pander. We got to go for the bigger audience. Okay,
I would have liked that ending better if she gets out and she sees that there are birds and stuff, but she sees little hints that it could be a gas attack or not, and she doesn't know what to do.
It would have been great.
And then you end it.
That would have been like an Orwellian ending.
That would have been. Is it real? Is there really stuff going on outside, or is it not going on?
I would have loved that, James.
Yeah, I know, but instead, JJ's going to throw in those aliens.
He's going to, and in all honesty, I expect it again with God Particle this year.
Oh, God Particle is going to be fucking aliens.
But
everybody knows.
It's going to be aliens through a portal that CERN opens, so it makes more sense.
Oh, so wait, God Particle that's coming out this year is pretty much Half-Life the movie.
I'm completely down with that because you know what else?
Portal that opens up aliens. Yeah, that's Half-Life.
Yeah,
that's Half-Life.
It's literally Half-Life, which Half-Life ended up being Doom 3. So it's going to be all these. So who knows? It'll either be aliens or demons.
I'm down for demons than aliens at this point.
I am too.
Yeah.
And that's all the theories that people have about CERN right now, that they're actually going to open a portal to hell.
Okay.
Which is like, if that's Abrams' take right now to finish the Cloverfield trilogy, I'm down with demons being the end game.
Yeah,
so
I'm down with that too.
All right.
I'm down with that too.
Aliens versus demons.
I'm down for that
awesome.
too. Yeah, I'm down for that too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Sterling, we are on our 6. Oh my god, we are close to the top 5 here,
It's
folks.
my turn, huh?
Yes, it's your 6.
Oh, dang.
What made it close to your top 5 but couldn't?
You mean my 10 through 6?
Well,
I mean,
I like to make 6 as the one that made it close to your top 5 but just couldn't. It's like something held it back,
Like, you mean like what made... What was your question again?
For me, your 6th slot is the one that almost made your top 5, but something stopped it from getting almost there.
Sure.
Yeah.
My number 6 is the film I was excited for, but was mainly surprised to know it was actually playing. I had no clue it was actually available to see this year. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing this tonight, Shin Godzilla is my number 6.
A Godzilla movie almost made your top 5?
Almost made my top 5.
Oh, okay.
But mainly because there's just 5 that I liked more as a movie, but this was awesome.
Did this make up for 2014 American Godzilla?
I actually liked that movie, so I didn't really need makeup.
Okay, they're two different animals.
Completely. Okay. Like the 2014 was a strict Godzilla film by nature, being a little bit of kaiju, but a lot of drama with the main characters. Dealing with the invasion. This was everything I didn't know I needed in the Godzilla franchise. So, the Wolf of Wall Street, Shin Godzilla is... Okay, let me just describe this the right way. Shin Godzilla is the first Godzilla movie when almost 100% through the eyes of the government trying to defend Tokyo from the monster attack. This is a socio-political thriller that happens to have a kaiju in it. So you just have this Thelma Schoonmaker, Martin Scorsese editing the whole movie, going so fast you're almost subliminally engaged in this more so than conscious. And you are sifting through this government C-SPAN jargon at a lightning quick space as Japan's government is basically frantically admitting they're incompetent and don't know how to deal with this problem with their people. There's too much red tape, too much bureaucracy. They can't send out a militia because the president says it'll scare the people. This bullshit is holding them back from defending their country.
From a giant fucking lizard.
Yes, and it shows that this is probably happening in every Godzilla movie ever, but you don't get to see it because it
you
focuses...
just see on the human characters on the level of Godzilla and Godzilla. Yeah.
Exactly. This time, it shows you how entertaining their story is in comparison.
Yeah.
It almost pales. It pales the main character human's story because this is so much more interesting. Because one thing I will say, this movie is actually more realistic than the 2014 Godzilla movie.
All right.
In the sense that this movie deals with a kaiju attack in a realistic manner when it comes to documentation and what's legal. So,
the government would be, okay, how the hell do we deal with this kind of a situation?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do. It's the first time this has ever happened.
Yeah.
And this is, of course, after the opening of the film, which is a direct, representation of Fukushima.
Yeah.
Kind of like how 55 was Hiroshima.
This is Fukushima.
Yes. Yeah. And they do a great parallel since this is a direct remake. But what I loved about this is that it is so realistic that they take every single thing into consideration before they execute their wacky, zany plot.
Yeah.
So, my favorite scene in this whole movie is when one of the administrators for the president tells him, hey, we need to attack, we need to assemble a militia and strike, in which the response is, we can't because of the treaty in 1945. Which is like, wait, what? What did they just say? Like, they bring in real-world politics, finally saying Japan cannot mobilize an army without the okay from the U.S.
Yeah.
Because of their attack on Pearl Harbor. I'm like, wow, they're directly referencing real, like, our universe in this movie.
Yeah.
In which then they get on the phone with Obama, is who they're, saying.
Yeah.
And they say, hey, we need to mobilize. So this monster... Technically, doesn't this count as a declaration of war on us?
Yeah.
And they're saying, well, it can't legally become that.
Yeah.
But by the situation, I guess,
Yeah.
So it gets to the point where Japan tries to attack them. Their outdated military presence is not a threat at all for Godzilla. Yeah. This is the scariest and strongest Godzilla ever.
Yeah.
Nothing phases this thing. Seriously, you can spirit bomb this guy and he wouldn't flinch. He's that strong.
Yeah.
They're shooting him with all these missiles, everything that they got, and it's not doing anything. But I'm thinking, it's because of Japan's little military. It never hurts Godzilla.
Yeah.
Then the U.S. says, okay, we declare a joint attack. The U.S. is going to enter the attack with Japan for the first time ever.
Yeah.
But then they say, Russia and China cannot be involved or else we are pulling out. And you're not allowed to fight back. Like, what?
That would be a real thing.
Wow.
I see U.S. Well, I see an Obama administration saying, if Russia or China is involved, we won't do it.
Exactly.
A Trump administration will be like, yeah, Russia could join us. Woo!
They can join us, but only them.
Only them, yeah.
But anyway, because of this, the U.S. and France help them out because France is an ally who agrees, yes, we should help out, someone in NATO.
Yeah.
So then they go in, and... France is attacking, it's not doing anything, and then the U.S. finally brings in B-2 bombers.
Wow.
And they're the only nation who can harm Godzilla.
Oh, cool.
Which
USA.
Which basically shows that our military is, like, overpowered and is all we care about. It seems to be, like, their way of saying that.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, U.S. cares about nothing than killing people.
That's actually pretty accurate, yeah.
Yeah. So, all these, like, these B-2 bombers and these land missiles, and it's actually making Godzilla bleed. But then, of course, Godzilla kills everything. Oh, they're drone striking him, too.
Well, yeah,
we
that's
use
pretty
drones.
modern. Yeah,
so
that's
it's like,
pretty modern.
It's like awesome.
Oh, yeah, Obama loves them drones.
Oh, yeah.
He loves them drones.
Oh, he loves them with his coffee every morning.
Exactly.
But in this film, it's like, when Godzilla gets pissed and attacks back, it shows how strong he is, where he has levels to his breath.
Wow.
Where he'll start blowing steam, and the steam, his temperature will rise, it'll turn into fire, and then after everything's scorched, and he reaches maximum heat, it turns into his natural atomic breath. But in this case, It's almost like a lightsaber. It's so strong.
Oh, shit.
Like it's shooting out at the speed of light.
Uh-huh.
It's digging holes through the Earth's crust, and he just moves his head, and he just starts slicing things like a sword with it.
Holy shit. So basically, nothing kills this Godzilla.
No.
This thing has an atomic breath that can level entire countries.
It slices
And
buildings in half.
Nothing kills it, and it spawns demon things from its tail. This is literally Godzilla from hell.
This is... Like, you can't even call it a spoiler because nothing happens.
Yeah.
But the very last shot of this movie is Godzilla being frozen by some of Japan's experimental technology. But when they freeze him, it looks like Godzilla was trying to evolve again, in which now his tail is sprouting tiny humanoid demonic creatures that look horribly scary. And that's the state he's frozen in now. So when they make a sequel to this, we can expect a Godzilla zombie
kind of movie, yeah.
post-apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the scariest Godzilla ever.
Yeah,
I mean,
holy shit.
Physically, his face is terrifying, but then you look at what he does and what he can actually live through.
Japan says, let's make a real nowadays 2010s Godzilla movie with real-world politics and real-world things, but let's make Godzilla himself from nightmares and hell.
Yeah.
Let's add nightmares and hell to this Godzilla.
It's a demon Godzilla.
Yeah, Demon Godzilla. That's the best way to call it. Demon Godzilla. I like to call it Nightmare Godzilla, but that's a good name for it too.
Yeah.
Demon Godzilla. Absolutely. Damn, I gotta check this out.
I think you'll like it.
Okay.
It's a thinking man's film for Godzilla for once.
Okay, that's right up my alley. Oh, so now it's up to my 6. So, Sterling, here is my number 6 is a movie that I know you fucking loved. It's a South Korean movie again. And I wanted to put this in my 5, but there were other movies that were more up my alley. Not necessarily better movies, but they were more up my alley.
Yeah.
And this is...
Personal taste is a big deal.
That's a big deal for my top 5.
You can't betray yourself.
No, absolutely not. My number 6 is the South Korean zombie movie that makes everybody bawl their eyes out called Train to Busan. If you don't know about Train to Busan...
You're an idiot. No, I'm just kidding.
No, come on.
I'm just kidding.
A lot of people don't know about Train to Busan. Calm down. Train to Busan is a zombie movie that takes place on a train because South Korea is just zombie infected with fast-running infected zombies, 28 Days Later style zombies, and it focuses on mostly this father who never has time for his little girl. He takes his little girl on a train to go meet their mother, and the zombie outbreak happens. I mean, it even happens all around South Korea, and it even happens on the train. So he's trying to protect his daughter the whole time. And there's other characters throughout the movie, too. And now, granted, a lot of horror fans are fucking tired of zombies, especially the infected / plague zombies, but this movie actually makes it work. These zombies are very threatening. You feel for the characters very much so. Even moments where they're trying to sneak past the zombies, because the zombies hear by sound and not through sight. When they try to sneak past the zombies and all of a sudden a character steps on a soda can, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know, so there's these tense moments throughout, but the characters in it are so good. They're so fleshed out. One of my favorite characters is that buff dude with his pregnant wife.
Yeah.
He was kicking ass in this
is.
movie. And he even sacrifices himself near and halfway mark for his pregnant wife at the end. And every time a character sacrifices themselves for this movie, it's incredibly emotional and you want to cry.
It's actually meaningful.
It's meaningful.
It's not just, okay, we need some body count to raise up the stakes.
Meaningful.
You know, like
you really feel it when a character dies in this movie. It brought back that tension and meaning that the zombie genre has lacked in a long time.
Yeah.
That the zombie genre hasn't had since the first season of Walking Dead, and only the first season of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't had that in a long... And, Sterling, you told me near the end of this movie, you will probably cry. And in my mind, I didn't want to tell you this in person while we were eating Sizzler.
Yeah.
In my mind, I thought, I'm not going to cry. I watched the end... when I got to the end of Train to Busan, when, spoiler... tears were running down my face, and I was like, fucking Sterling. I said, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. My eyes are watering. Fuck. Damn it, Sterling. Damn it. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually cried near the end of that movie. And it's weird when a horror film makes you cry, not from what it's showing you that's disturbing, but it makes you cry from the emotion you feel for the characters.
Yes.
That's kind of rare in the genre.
It is.
It is. So... Holy shit. And there's, at the very ending, there's this little sliver of hope at the very end that I loved.
Yes.
So, yeah, Train to Busan is one of the rare zombie movies in the last couple of years that's actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And believe me, I'm fucking tired of infected zombies. I want rotten out of their cemetery zombies to make a comeback. But I don't
Same
see
here.
that. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, Sterling, now here we are, folks. We are at the top 5 of the year. Now, these are not horror movies that we think are the best of the year, but these are just our favorite horror movies of the year. The horror movies that were right up our alley and we fucking loved because this was all us. Like, it's like we see movies like, oh, that's such a Sterling movie, or this is such a James movie.
Yeah.
These are our movies.
Yeah.
Sterling, your fifth favorite horror movie of 2016.
My 5th favorite of the year? Mm-hmm. Holy shit. Oh my god. Mm-hmm. I absolutely loved Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Bravo.
This
Bravo.
was, what an amazing movie. Shit. So,
Yeah. Brian Cox, Emile Hirsch, everybody in this movie killed it.
Everyone-
Everybody brought their A game.
every single
Even the
person,
girlfriend.
Yes, every
Everybody
single
brought their
person
girlfriend.
was fantastic. This is a movie for anyone. If anyone's ever into, like, if you're a medical student, you'll probably be amazed at how
Detailed they get.
how detailed this movie is with the process of autopsy at morgues,
Yeah.
in which this is taken so slow yet so meaningfully paced.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most entertaining thing I've seen in a while. That's not even scary yet,
No.
because you know that something's going to happen, but it's taken so much time and just showing us these characters, their relationship, building up this father and son who have this family business that's pretty morbid, but they love it. And
Not only that, the father and son aren't this bickering father and son like you would
No.
expect. They respect each other, but they have differences of opinion, but they still very much love and respect each other.
they do.
Yeah.
They really do. And there's no bullshit teenage angst in
No,
this
there's
movie.
none of that. And Emile
It's
Hirsch's
past
character
that.
is in his 20s, so
Yeah.
there's hardly any of that.
There's
bullshit.
there's no crap holding back a good relationship between father and son.
Yeah.
And basically, yeah, it's just film about
They get a body.
these two having to make a diagnosis on this strange body that was found at a crime scene.
This body
by
of a
these
woman.
cops, and it's just everything about her is odd. There's no decay. There's no sign of brutality. There's no sign of foul play whatsoever in however she
Even
died.
though she was discovered in a body, she was discovered in the basement of a house that was littered with bodies.
Yeah.
Yes.
And was buried.
Uh-huh.
She was buried in an area that she couldn't have been buried at overnight.
Yeah,
Yet
no.
her body shows signs of being dead for no more than a couple hours, if that.
Yeah.
So it's completely baffling. They're trying to find out what the hell's going on, but it takes its time, and it makes you almost forget at times that this is a horror film. It feels like a little indie drama at times
Yeah.
that happens to take place with, around dead bodies. Naturally, though, and basically, once things hit the fan,
When the
This be-
really creepy supernatural stuff starts to happen.
when that starts to happen, I got so many Fulci visions about this
Ooh.
film.
See, this is where me and you different. You think it was a love letter to Fulci? I think it was a love letter to Tales from the Crypt.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
got
kinda-
Tales from the Crypt vibes. You got more Fulci
it gets
vibes?
tough for me to say it's a love
Yeah.
letter to an anthology, because
Yeah.
that's kind of like, you kind of have to pinpoint
Well, no,
what
no.
you
Tales
mean.
from the Crypt had a vibe to most of their episodes.
Sure.
And that's where I got that vibe from. For
Sure.
Autopsy. Yeah.
The build-up of like, oh, this is actually a weird thing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
To me, I guess it's like once the imagery starts of the actual decaying bodies that actually like reanimate because of
Yes.
what's going on, I start getting City of the Living Dead.
Oh, I can see
sites.
that. I can definitely see that.
That's
yeah.
how these zombies look. They're very unique. They're very menacing, and there's never the same one twice.
And folks, this is not a zombie movie. This
it's
is
not.
Count it as a supernatural horror film that you just have to go in blind. You know?
Basically do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh my god, yes, what Autopsy of Jane Doe is so good. And
Yeah.
plus it's like they make use of a bell to its absolute the sound of a bell ringing to its absolute scariest extent.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this was Oh man, this is one I will be buying on physical media.
Oh, absolutely. When it
and
finally hits physical media.
IFC Midnight has been doing great lately.
Oh
you know?
my god, Babadook, everything everything they've been pumping out. They really find
I'm
the
looking
good
at my
stuff.
favorite release they've ever done right now in front of me with a Barbarian Sound Studio. So, to me, it's like they are a golden child.
There you are. Exactly. My number 5 is a movie that you did not like, Sterling.
Okay.
My number 5 was a movie that is all style and no substance. This is a movie that is only concerned with what is on the surface and nothing on what is on the inside. And that is the purpose of the movie. This was a movie from Nicholas Winding Refn named The Neon Demon. Now, let me finish before you go on a hate tirade.
I'm not going to go on a full hate tirade, only half of one.
Only half. Okay. The reason why I love The Neon Demon was several things. It's a very bleak commentary on Hollywood and the modeling agency. Not only that, is that every one of the characters, with the exception of the young photographer, is shallow, is only considered about beauty, is only considered about this. There's no substance or real depth to these characters whatsoever. Now, a normal moviegoer will be like, well, that's just lazy writing. No, there's a purpose for that. It's showing that how awful the modeling industry really is. Not only that, you have these beautiful mesmerizing colors and images throughout the whole film that had me just mesmerized, and very much there's a purpose for that, is to show how mesmerizing but how stupid the modeling industry can be, and how it only focuses on the surface of stuff. And then the movie takes a turn with a scene that I saw in the theater with few other people and had me sinking in my seat going, holy shit, I am watching this on the big screen with people. And that is one from when Jenna Malone decides to have sex with a female corpse in the movie. She's doing an autopsy on this female corpse, and all of a sudden she starts fingering it and getting on top of it and fingering herself and really, really coming hard on top of this female corpse. And I'm sitting in that theater going, holy shit, I'm watching this with people next to me in a theater. This is something that needs to be watched on the internet at 3 a.m, not in a theater. Holy shit. And this is Jenna Malone doing it. Holy fuck.
The little tiny girl from Contact.
Yes. Yes. And then the movie takes another turn with the main character getting killed, and then them eating her and dousing in their blood all Elizabeth Bathory style, and then at the end another character ripping her guts open with eyeballs coming out of her own guts. And I was like, this took a Volchi turn. And the last 20 minutes takes a Volchi turn in this movie. And not only that, Keanu Reeves plays as like a sleazy bad guy in it. That was weird, seeing Keanu Reeves play that. And I was like, this movie is just, how do I say this? Sleazy, gory, visual, art house poetry with a commentary about the modeling industry, and that's it. That's it. Don't expect any depthness to it whatsoever. Just, you know what its message is halfway through the film.
Yeah.
And for that, I give it its kudos. Anytime a horror movie makes me walk out of that theater saying, what did I just watch? I need to think about what I just watched.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way. Yeah. I have to give it credit.
For sure.
Now, Sterling. Ooh, sorry. See, I had the burp for what's about to happen. Your mini hate tirade on Neon Demon.
My mini hate tirade is very simple. This is the only horror film of the year that halfway through it, I really wish didn't become a horror film at all. I loved this movie for its style. I love this movie for its commentary on Hollywood. As soon as it becomes a horror film, a lot of the metaphor that made it so strong in its narrative kind of leaves. And all that you're left with is the idea of, oh, you gotta kill each other for that gig, and then I end up getting Starry Eyes 2. Another film that left me with the worst case of blue balls in my life. Because it was a great way to look at Hollywood being this sleazy place that will destroy a young starlet. Yet then turns into a generic ass, look, blood, shocking, done. And then I'm like, okay, fuck me. I'm so into this topic. Yet they choose
The Mulholland Drive topic.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Which Mulholland Drive is still the only film I've seen that goes the whole way. And
doesn't delve into a horror film.
It doesn't become a bloody horror film just because it can. Mm-hmm. This movie was this movie was basically going to be like my first Drive since Drive. When it comes to him,
I found the best description for both Starry Eyes from 2014 and Neon Demon. Starry Eyes is Lucio Fulci directing Mulholland Drive. Neon Demon is Dario Argento directing Mulholland Drive.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know David Lynch is the only one who should direct Mulholland Drive. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got to say.
Okay, all right. Next, moving on. Now, Sterling, you're number 4.
Oh, I keep forgetting when it's my turn. I'm all not prepared. Okay.
I lead you into it. Here we go, Sterling.
My number 4 is the only documentary on my list.
There was a horror documentary last year? It's probably not. Is it Rats?
No.
Okay, all right. Good.
This is a documentary that is so scary in its subject that it becomes horror.
Okay.
I had one last year. I have one this year.
Is it that tickle one?
No.
Okay, all right.
No, I didn't even care. No, this is a documentary that came out on VOD out of nowhere that I had to see because of its subject matter.
Yeah.
And the way that it's filmed and executed is meant to scare you.
Okay.
This is a film called Do Not Resist that came out near the final quarter of last year. And this is a slow burn documentary on the hyper militarization of our police force and how they utilize this.
Now we're down to earth right here.
Yes.
Yeah, now we're up in the clouds with Neon Demon. Now we're down to earth.
Now we're down to earth at what really is a threat to your life.
Yeah.
Which to me is the scariest kind of horror. The one that will actually kill you and arrest your family, or do worse now that we know we have you-know-who.
Yeah.
So this movie begins with a giant police conference with all the police chiefs in the U.S. attending a lecture by a borderline sociopath who's regarded as the #1 police kind of pep rally guy,
Isn't that motherfucker on Fox News all the time?
I don't know. I don't watch it. Okay. But all I know is he is explaining to these police chiefs, now everyone, you got to make sure that either you shoot first, you kill first, or you die in shame.
He actually says this.
He says these things, telling them all, this is warfare. This isn't protection. This is the front lines. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's a candid camera filming this.
And it's this kind of rhetoric that is causing all this shit with our police force.
Yeah. It goes even to further lengths to show city council meetings in places like Ohio and other states where they're spending our tax dollars for these giant armored vehicles that are basically tanks without mortars on them.
Yeah.
And this is for, they're admitting, no, these aren't for riots. Which means we're hoping to be able to use these normally soon.
Yeah.
And then the centerpiece of this film is the Ferguson riots.
Yeah.
Which, personally, I'm indifferent to.
Yeah.
I believe they were handled incorrectly by the people protesting in certain areas.
Yeah.
But what is frightening is that for the ones who were being more peaceful, they were still being shot at point blank with rebel bullets.
Yeah.
You see this in the film, how they're dealt with. You see gas grenades hitting people before they explode. You see them driving tanks through the crowd, basically saying, if we crush you, it's too bad. At this point, we had authority. And then, after the riots are done and they quell them, and the people who are trying to fight for their rights are defeated, there's a camera following the cops now to their compound where they're going, all right, well, I'll see you Friday. All right. And then they're just like saying stuff like, well, that's done. All right, I'm going to go get a beer. Almost like that's like, oh, we don't give a fuck about the Constitution anymore, you know?
It was even worse in Baltimore.
Oh, yeah.
Baltimore, they were just grabbing random people, white, black, any color, even if they were pregnant women on the streets and just throwing them in street.
Yeah.
You're throwing them in prison.
Yeah.
Even if they weren't even near the riots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baltimore was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff, lots of footage of people being grabbed and arrested.
Yeah.
And you know, them not being given their Miranda rights. And basically it's the cops saying that you forfeited it when you joined the protest.
Yeah.
And technically that's unlawful for them to do.
Yeah.
But they have the gun. Yeah. What can you say?
So this is a documentary that shows a bleak reality.
Extremely bleak reality. The only reason why I had to consider this as a horror film is because that was the direct vibe the filmmaker gave off when editing this. And this is, for obvious reasons, scariest movie of the year for me. Because this is our reality now that's getting worse by the day.
Yeah. Fuck, how do I follow that one? Jesus. Wow, okay. You tricked at the dark territories, and I'm like, my number 4 is a fun slasher movie. Yay! Okay, everybody, let's get a little bit more lighthearted here. Yeah. Whoa! Okay. All right. Everybody try to get out, dear listeners, please to get out of that depressing, bleak rut here.
Yeah.
And my number 4 is a... Jesus, my number 4 is so light compared to yours. My number 4 is a 1980s VHS-style slasher film. And that does it really well. My number 4 is a movie called Lake Nowhere.
Okay.
Lake Nowhere is... You go online, Lake Nowhere will say 2014, but I vividly remember it coming out on VOD and DVD and Blu-ray release August of last year, so technically it's a 2016 movie. Lake Nowhere is... You know how there are a lot of indie filmmakers try to bring back that 1980s VHS quality, and it just gets frustrating and annoying at this point?
Yeah, because it's kind of like a new genre at this point now.
This movie, Lake Nowhere, does it, and it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel annoyed. It actually feels like a lost slasher film you found on VHS.
Very nice.
Very nice. And... when you watch it, it doesn't start off with the movie. It actually starts off with like a bad early 90s Halloween home video, and then all of a sudden the tape gets like switched over to like a trailer for a bad Italian giallo movie, and then it goes to like a Canadian style 80s commercial going homophobia, and everybody's like happy drinking beers and stuff, and then it starts off with the slasher film, which is 20-somethings go up to a cabin in the woods and there's a killer out there. Typical 80s slasher film.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it has this aesthetic to it, and it has this delivery and this tone to it that makes it feel like it's actually kind of a creepy and dread-inducing lost slasher film from the 80s. Mm-hmm. And you sometimes still get a little bit of that... Oh, it goes right back to the Halloween home movie for like a second, and then it goes back to... because it makes it feel like it was a tape taped over a tape.
Yeah.
And after that style has kind of run its course with the movie, it then settles more into the slasher film, which you have these creepy tone to the whole film. Mm-hmm. The kills are very mean-spirited and in your face, but also kind of fun all at the same time. Think of a little bit more gory Friday the 13th kills. Mm-hmm. But what I love most about this film, though, is the music has that creepy, dread-inducing synth score, like Fender Bender.
Yeah.
But the film, you think that it's a straight slasher film. No, because one of the characters turns into like this ghoul thing and attacks another character. Mm-hmm. And another character is reading some ancient magical scribe off of a tombstone. Mm-hmm. And this supernatural shit starts to come halfway through the slasher film as well.
Yeah.
And then when it gets to the ending... it sort of makes a little sense, but then it doesn't make sense. So remember when on the September episode when I talked about nightmare logic?
Yes.
This is Friday the 13th. Lake Nowhere is a third-generation VHS tape of a lost Friday the 13th movie with nightmare logic and supernatural horror applied. Creepy supernatural things happen in the middle of the slasher stuff that make no sense whatsoever, and it doesn't really explain it.
Sure.
So, yeah, and this, come on, VHS style and nightmare logic, that's right up my alley. Uh-huh. That is right up my fucking alley. So that's why Lake Nowhere had to be a number 4 to me. It had to be so clear. And the thing is, the whole movie is, including the fake trailers and the commercials, is only an hour long.
Okay.
So technically it's a short film. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my number 4, and that's something that a lot of people should really check out, especially if you love horror scenes that don't make any sense with no explanation, like Phantasm or Hellraiser. And if you love Friday the 13th movies, and if you love old VHS style of horror films, this is going to be right up your alley too, guys. I'm hoping Lake Nowhere got past the bleakness of Do Not Resist. So. Your number 4, Sterling. Oh, wait, we already did your 4. Yeah, no,
3.
Sorry. 3. We're on our 3. Oh,
yes.
Shit. All right, the top 3, folks.
All right.
Your number 3.
My number 3 was a film that I saw earlier this year.
Earlier. I mean, earlier 2016 or earlier this year right now?
Earlier in fall.
In fall, okay.
In the fall of 16, on one of my letterbox challenges. And
this was part of your Hooptober.
It was part of my Hooptober, and
Okay.
I absolutely fell in love with this movie's trailer. And then by the time I actually saw the movie, I was thoroughly impressed with what I saw. 'Cause I want to see things that are different for once. I don't want to see things that are too generic. And when you give a kind of a weird twist on generic, it saves it for me, you know? Last Girl Standing is my number 3 because it gives, for the vast majority of the film, it really gives a very honest and heartfelt look at what we should really be focusing on when a slasher film is almost over, when you should realize this person's life is ruined.
Yeah, you know, at the end of a slasher movie, a lot of horror fans always wondered, well, what about that final girl's life after the slasher movie? What is her life going to be like after the slasher movie?
She just lived through seeing everyone she ever loved being brutally murdered.
Yeah.
She's going to be like... She's a Vietnam vet now, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, you can barely function. You're constantly getting flashbacks. You don't trust anyone, and rightfully, you don't have to anymore.
And the movie's her trying to get her life back on track.
Her trying to get her life back on track, but as a really slow-moving, dramatic movie. Just her working at... It was like a tailor.
A laundromat.
Like, yeah. She works at a laundromat, tries to make do. She's such an innocent, nice person, basically, who's just under attack by these horrible visions.
Yeah.
And these nightmares every chance that she sleeps.
She keeps thinking that the slasher has somehow come back from the dead and is haunting her.
Yeah.
When really it really is just in her head.
Yeah, it's all in her head. She even has to go at one point to see the corpse of the
slasher.
And this movie keeps pulling things on you the whole time, thinking, "Oh, he is alive. Oh, she isn't crazy." You know, when in the end it's no. This is a total moment to sympathize with someone's horrible, her experiences.
Yeah.
This is a PTSD film.
And then at the very end,
I'm not going to spoil anything.
okay,
But I am going to say...
You told me that at the end you didn't like it at first, but then you realize, oh, it needed to go there.
The ending is something that I was hoping the whole time wouldn't happen. But when it did, I realized I have to go with it, whatever. But it was after I finished the movie and thought about it for a while that I thought, there's no how else that could have ended. You can't end a movie about possibilities on just a possibility.
Something has to happen.
Something has to happen to end the narrative. Otherwise, you're just seeing... You're seeing the end of something and then the start of something else that goes nowhere. That would have been a bad film.
It would have been an anticlimactic movie.
Yeah, it would have been a movie without an ending. So this gives it 1, and I am now content with it. It still is something that holds it back from being a number 1 or 2 on my list. But it's still a film that I absolutely love. People should see it, and another one that I am obviously going to buy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is one that I will be showing people too, because a lot of my friends who are slasher fans as well. This is something that will make everyone think differently about the end of every famous slasher where there is a final girl living at the end. In other words, not Fender Bender.
Yes, not Fender Bender. Yeah. Not Fender Bender.
Yeah.
That was one of the only few slasher movies in which the slasher actually wins at the end.
Yeah.
Fender Bender, yeah. Which was kind of new. Kind of new to see. Okay, my third, Sterling, is something we already went over, and my third favorite horror movie of 2016 was Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Very cool.
Very cool. It is manages to be a scary movie. It keeps you guessing. It's a supernatural horror film. And not only that, we got a supernatural horror movie that actually scares us, and it's not a fucking ghost movie.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, James Wan.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And not only that, the corpse where the corpses walking around scene was I got more of a Tales from the Crypt vibe from this than I did with a Fulci vibe, but I can see why you would say a Fulci vibe. The one scene in the movie that made me go, oh, that's fucked up, was the scene involving the girlfriend halfway through.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was like, oh, that is a
Of all the dirty tricks, Evil Witch.
Of all the dirty tricks, that one was a fucked up trick. Yeah. So because
Not cool.
Not cool. Yeah, not cool. And yeah, I really liked Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Very well made movie.
And
Again,
even Stephen King just came out and said it's up there with Alien. And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Stephen King is loving this fucking movie. Yeah.
that means he's gonna rip it off. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, remember, he loved Evil Dead and Hellraiser in the
Yeah.
80s. He never did an Evil Dead
That's
book,
true.
you know. So
Yeah.
he can love stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So now, folks, we are on our 2. Sterling, your second favorite horror movie of the year. The one that came close to your first, but you had to put it second.
Okay. Now. Oh, wow. So.
Like, how do I intro this?
So. I just realized how controversial I am.
Okay.
All right. So, my number 2 of the year
Uh-huh.
is. My number 2 favorite horror film of the year would have to be a film that's already been covered.
Okay.
The South Korean zombie film,
Train to Busan.
Train to Busan.
Okay. No,
Is
that's
my-
fine. That's
is-
it's a good fucking
Is
movie.
my number 2 because of just okay. Again, going back to South Korea being my favorite place that makes foreign
Your
films at
favorite
this point.
foreign films are South Korean, yeah.
This is a huge example of why they do. You have a director who's been an animator his whole life and just decides finally to do a live action film. The way he shoots this and edits it is just like an animated film. The shots that they do should not work.
Yeah.
The way that they're filming in a cramped train should not work. They make it work well. The fact that, James already explained earlier how they deal with the characters by building them all up over half the entire film so that you get to know who they are is just how they should manage the narrative in which they start picking them off one by one later on.
Yeah.
And yes, it does affect you every time because there's never a single death that feels like, oh, we just need fodder for this scene.
Yeah.
No. Every death makes sense. It's relevant. It's sad. It's a very unfair fate for all these people.
Yes.
Except
for one character.
But
There's one character that fucking deserves it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it comes a little too late, you know.
Yeah, I know.
But all these deaths are like super meaningful and super sad, with my main shout out going to one involving a homeless man. But again,
his death was a lot like the for a reason.
A lot of deaths in this movie happen for a reason, but you just need to see it to know why. There are 2 instances in this movie where I did tear up.
Yeah.
One of them being the death of someone James mentioned earlier, because it's a very meaningful thing he does before he ends. I won't spoil that.
Yeah.
But again, the very ending of this film, and I mean ending, like when the credits start rolling.
Yeah.
I cried for 15 minutes straight.
Oh shit.
After this movie ended.
So I did a little better than you.
No, I
I
let myself go on this.
Okay.
This was the most emotional ending I saw all year. Okay. I couldn't handle the fact that a zombie movie
of all genres, a
made
zombie
me
movie.
cry like a girl watching a Nicholas Sparks film, you know? Like, this was my thing. And also, I gotta say, I am over zombie films in general.
I think most horror fans...
I don't care what zombies they are.
Most horror fans,
you know?
are done with ghost movies and possession movies and zombie films.
I'm done with these, yet not only was this the best zombie film I've seen in years, this is on my top 10 favorite zombie films of all time.
Okay.
And
so
that's
it's up
why
there with like Night and Shaun of the Dead
It's up
and
there.
Return of the Living Dead and all those. Okay.
This is okay. Really quick before I end this, I gotta say one thing that holds people back from seeing this. This is not a gimmick of zombies on a train this time. No, this is so much more than that. They happen to be on a train, but that's not the selling point here. The selling point is that this brings back the personal and emotional connection you should feel with characters in a post-apocalyptic world that hasn't been there for a while, thanks to most of them now being raunchy comedies. So this brings back what you should have been getting for years on, but we kind of lost it for a while because things got too popular and Twinkies. So anyway...
we're looking at you, Zombieland and Walking Dead.
That's all I gotta say. James, I have one request.
Yeah.
After you go on with your number 2...
Yeah.
I think we should do our honorable mentions before we hit number 1.
Okay. All right. But we don't have to give any explanation
No.
for the honorable mentions. We don't got that time.
We just need to basically
got time
shock
for
you
that.
guys with what you're not going to see on the list.
I know. I'll read one, then you read one. I'll read one, then you read one.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
After your two.
Okay. You mean after my last two? Or
No,
my
no, no.
normal list?
I think I just did my two.
Oh, you just did your two.
You have to do your two.
Oh, you mean honorable mentions?
Huh?
Honorable
No.
mentions or the list?
No, your list done number two.
Oh, my two. Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you meant the honorable mentions.
No.
Okay, but that's before.
I just
okay,
mean honorable
never
mentions
mind.
before our number one.
All right. My number two might take you by surprise, and I saw this one in the theaters. It was
Try me.
It was a studio movie, and let me defend this. My number two is The Shallows.
Okay.
My number two.
As long as it wasn't Conjuring 2.
Oh, fuck no. I am so done with ghost movies. So done with ghost movies, okay? My number two is The Shallows not just because it was a shark movie featuring Blake Lively's ass, but because it is a good shark movie. Now, I know
It is
nobody...
a good ass.
It was a good ass. Ryan Reynolds got himself a good ass right there. Yeah, I will admit it,
Leo lost out.
Exactly. But you know what? It is a good shark movie. Now, how fucking long has it been since somebody said we finally got a good shark movie?
The marketing for Shark Night.
Yeah. Just the marketing for Shark Night.
Yeah.
Because for years and years and years, we have had nothing but Sharknadoes and Mega Shark and Super Shark, all these filmmakers making a joke out of the shark genre, and all of a sudden, here comes a studio movie making a serious shark movie, and lo and behold, they actually make it work. They make a good shark movie that is tension-filled, that is scary, that had people jumping in the seats. People right next to me were jumping in their seats to a shark movie. I couldn't believe my eyes in the theaters. And not only that, the shark in this movie is incredibly menacing. He's a little cartoony, but that's what comes with the territory with modern day technology. The shark is a little cartoony, but the shark's menacing. The shark is very threatening. You feel for the danger for Blake Lively's character. And not only that, the shark does some serious fucking damage to some people in this too. We haven't had somebody actually be afraid of a shark in a long time, since before all the Sharknado bullshit. So, and not only that, you get a good sense of atmosphere. You feel Blake Lively is stuck there for so long that you feel like you're stuck there too. You feel like you're feeling the waves up against your skin and everything. And the best part about this movie was not the fact that we've actually got a tense, scary, menacing shark in a shark movie. Well, it was because Blake Lively's character is so relatable, and you want her to live so badly in this movie, and you want her to persevere. And spoilers coming, folks, she actually does persevere at the end of this movie, and at the end of this movie, you feel so good for her persevering at the end that I walked out of that theater feeling good.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest surprise of that day. It's like I saw a shark movie in theaters that was well made. It was serious. People were jumping in their seats, and I left the theater feeling good about myself.
Yeah.
This is a breath of fresh fucking air for the shark genre. It really is. It was like we've had 5 to 6 years of Sci-Fi Channel shitting in our mouths with the shark genre, and all of a sudden somebody wipes all that shit out of her mouth and gives us a Tic Tacs and some pizza. And I was like, thank you, The Shallows. Thank you. Okay? That's my number 2. Because of what it has done. That's my number 2.
Got it.
Okay. Have you seen it yet or no?
No.
I don't think you're going to love it as much as me do, but I think you're going to appreciate what it did.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. All right. So is it honorable mentions time?
It is.
Okay. This time, though, I read my one honorable mention first, and then you do it, and then I do it, then you do it, okay?
Okay. How many do you have, by the way?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I have 4.
Oh, wait. Hold up. I gotta write that down really quick. We're still recording, folks. I'm sorry. We apologize. I'm sorry. Okay. Hold up. You have 4?
Yes.
1, 2. Okay, I got 4 too.
Okay.
First of all, honorable mention goes to the Turkish gore film Baskin. Yours?
Mine is the strangely enjoyable but all around not good Yoga Hosers.
Okay, I do not see eye to eye with you on that one, but anyway, my
Not
other
good. Trust me.
Oh, I
Not
know.
good.
Oh, I know. My other film, one of my other honorable mentions goes to Don't Breathe, which I wholeheartedly respect. Yours?
The funny, chaotic, yet a little too loose on the narrative, Freaks of Nature.
Okay. For me, another honorable mention goes to the loose. Some of the segments are really good and freaky and nightmarish. Other segments don't work at all, but as a whole, it's a weird desert-bound anthology film, Southbound.
Phil Stevens' great follow-up to Flowers, which I absolutely loved last year, Lung 2.
Okay.
Experimental people with no dialogue in films who like that, this is for you.
And my final honorable mention goes to the fucked up and emotionally gut-wrenching anti-suburbia film from, of course, Richard Bates Jr. called Trash Fire, which will obviously make you hate old people and Christianity very much so throughout the movie.
My final honorable mention would be a film that was on James's list, which I absolutely still love, and debate with myself where it actually will end up on my top of the whole year list in general, of regardless of genre.
Yeah.
The Invitation.
Yeah. Good movies. All good movies. All good. They have their problems, with the exception of Don't Breathe, but they're all good movies. Absolutely. So, Sterling, what was your number one favorite horror movie of 2016? Sterling Anno's pick. His favorite. I'm not going to hate you for this one. I was surprised that you picked Green Room as number 7, but you know.
Oh, well, okay. This is a horror film that I found out was a horror film because of so many other horror directors calling it a horror film.
Okay. So you're like, if all those guys are calling it a horror film, it must be a horror film.
It is. I got the vibe from it. It has the right company behind it. And it is... it takes a lot from the genre in its influences.
Election Night? Was it Election Night for America? That was a horror film.
No. This is Beyonce's Lemonade. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
That's an album. That's an album. It was horrifying,
Okay,
but
fine,
that's a different
fine.
medium.
Frank Ocean's Stair Builder. No, okay, here we go. My number one of the year, and before I say what it is, I just want to say I am so freaking happy that this company ended up on the top of my list for the first time in years. It's been freaking years. It's been since the early 2000s. A film by this company has not had my number one spot. And the fact that they picked this up, and I saw it, and I happened to enjoy this. I enjoyed my time with this movie more than any other movie of the whole year, basically. That it had to be my number one because of who I am, because of what I like, and because I like to see people be getting pissed off.
This is all you. This movie is all you.
So, Hectic Knife.
Hectic Knife?
Hectic Knife is a
What?
vigilante slasher-ish type film that was picked up by Troma mid last year, that is a black and white, super violent, nihilistic, we don't give a fuck movie that is flooringly funny. This movie...
So it's a dark comedy through and through.
Yes.
Hectic Knife.
Hectic Knife, which is the name of the character, much like Black Dynamite in his movie, is a... Looks like he's a millennial guy in a shirt with long hair and 2 kitchen knives as his weapons as he defends New York from bad guys. The opening scene finds him...
sounds like a weird millennial slash trauma version of Taxi Driver.
Kind of.
Okay.
The opening scene has him walking down an alley, seeing a girl being attacked by some big biker guy. He goes up and starts stabbing the biker, with the biker turning around going, "Oh, dude, nah, you're stabbing me to death. Stop it, man.
What the
Oh,
fuck?
God. Oh, no." You know, and then he's on the ground still being stabbed in like a monotone kind of way. And it's at this point you hear the monologue of Hectic Knife saying, "I'm getting sick and tired of saving all these people. They do nothing but get in trouble. So I have to go murder everyone and save their lives. Is this life? This shouldn't be life." As he's still stabbing the guy, having an inner monologue to himself.
Yeah, this sounds like a Sterling Anno movie. Yes, it does.
After he kills the biker, the girl who he saved as collateral ends up deciding, oh, well, I guess I better move in with them now.
What?
And so then he follows them back and moves in. As they're walking off, the dead biker gets up and then says, oh, they make a cute couple, and then dies again.
What the fuck?
So then he gets to his house and he needs to find a new roommate. So he gets a guy from Ireland to be his roommate, who then ends up, kind of just being his go-to guy for just spilling his guts and his sorrows.
Wow.
While he's out killing people. This movie has a lot of flashbacks too. It flashbacks to when he learned the ways of the knife, in which he's being
the ways of the knife, like it's a fucking kung fu movie.
He's being trained by the youngest looking sensei ever.
Oh my God!
Of how to master knife fighting, and
knife fighting.
There's two guys in his class. There's like a bigger guy with like just like some nerd, and then him. And the nerd guy is like excelling. He's good, but Hectic Knife can't even like stab right. He's like flailing because he sucks. And so then, but eventually, he beats the other pupil by stabbing him to death. And then he gets his diploma, which is a blank piece of paper, which is hanging in his family's kitchen.
Wow.
There's a great scene in which where he's walking down after having killed someone else. He's trying to find Piggly Doctor. The main bad guy in this film, who's a mad scientist who we don't know what he does, but he's evil and he has to be stopped now, son.
So anyway, that's what so the whole movie Hector is saying this guy is evil, but we don't see why he's evil.
We don't. Well, I mean, you can tell he's evil. He has a hench lady who's mistreated horribly because he's an asshole.
Okay,
that's what we get. Anyway, so then, but there's a great scene where he's like monologuing down the sidewalk, and he's just saying to himself like, "Ah, man, sometimes I really wish my dad was here to really help me out." And then someone bumps into him and goes, "Hey, asshole!" And goes like, "Hey, don't talk to your father that way." And it's his dad. It's literally a buff version of Hectic Knife, an older buff version. Every single thing about him is exactly the same.
What the fuck?
So then they go to Denny's, and this is my favorite. This is like the funniest scene to me in the movie. They're at like a Denny's or something.
Yeah.
Drinking coffee, catching up on many years being estranged from each other. As they're talking, the waitress comes over to refill the dad's coffee and goes, "More coffee, sir?" Then he pulls a cup away from her and goes, "Fuck you."
What the fuck?
And then
this movie will keep you entertained from frame one to the last frame.
Yes.
Okay.
She then turns over to Hectic Knife's cup, and as she's about to pour, he's like hesitant, but then goes, "Okay." And then she starts pouring, and then the dad goes, "Well, why did you let her do that, son?" And then in a lightning moment, the son, in the most profound terms, says, "Sometimes you just gotta let the bitch fill up the cup."
What the fuck?
And then they reconnect. And
I need to see this movie in a crowd. I really do. How did you see this? Where did you see this?
This was a VOD. This was an online thing.
What?
And oh, holy shit. Okay. This movie is the epiphany of everything that shouldn't happen in a traditional film will happen. This breaks every rule possible. This is the anti-artist main film, in which this is mainly symbolized in a film.
So the filmmaker was like, let's make a movie, but let's make an anti-movie.
It's like an anti-movie that has a premise, but it ditches every logical step along the way and delays the simple inevitability of an ending.
Oh, wow.
But it's so fun while it does it. The main scene that makes this a truth is a scene in which Hectic Knife gets ambushed in a hallway by three big Italian Jewish guys.
Italian Jewish guys, okay.
And they're about to lay the paint on him, you know? And so then while he pulls out his knife, but he's kind of helpless because these are big, tough guys, the main guy in first person view says, "All right, we're gonna kill Hectic right now. Hey, give me a bagel." And when the guy opens up a bag and gives him a bagel, he takes a bite. "Oh, that bagel tastes like shit. Give me another bagel." And then tries it again, like, "What the fuck? You can't pick up good bagels? You don't know what a good bagel is?" And then they all start arguing about this bagels. And it'll cut back to Hectic Knife looking at them.
They're just a bunch of Italians doing Italian shit, but just replace Italian food with Jewish food.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and so then they start throwing all the bagels on the ground, and they're still talking about bagels until one of them goes, "Hey, man, you gotta stop," poking him. Like, "You gotta, oh, man, this is a nice shirt. This is a nice shirt. Hey, where'd you get that shirt?" I'm like, I don't know, some place down the street, down on 5th. Like, oh, was it $4.99? Like, yeah, how'd you know? Because the tag's still there. It's $4.99. And then it zooms into the tag, and then they start talking about these shirts for 5 minutes straight.
Oh my god.
And then, while they're doing this, Hectic Knife is slowly tiptoeing out of the frame to escape the bad
That
guys.
sounds like a fucking cartoon.
And as he's almost around a corner, the Italian guy sees him and goes, hey, chase after him, get him now. And then he starts running to get him, but he trips on a bagel as soon as he starts running. And there's bagels everywhere. Why is there bagels everywhere? I don't know. Man, why didn't you get good bagels, though? Like,
so they start arguing again?
Yeah, about the
Holy
bagels.
Shit!
And then, as soon as they're almost done arguing about the bagels, one of the guys goes, hey, man, tell me again, where'd you get that shirt?
They start again? They start all over?
They're still talking,
No!
They start talking about the shirt.
Oh, dear God.
And then the camera eventually breaks the fourth wall and moves and pans out of like a TV screen where someone's watching the movie in a color world. It turns meta with this couple watching the film going, this is a piece of shit. Why did you rent this shit? This movie sucks. They're talking about bagels for 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden the guy's abdomen splits open and his gut starts spilling out. And
What
he just
the fuck?
dies. And then it goes back to the movie where they're talking about bagels. And then eventually the scene just ends with them quitting. They just quit. They say, you know what? I'm done talking about this shit. Look, he ran away a long time ago. We're done. And then it goes back to Hectic Knife. So, but
What the fuck?
and not too long after that, one of the main characters breaks out into a random James Bond theme for Hectic Knife. Anyway, this is my favorite horror movie of the year. Again, horror with parentheses or quotations because other people have confirmed it as one for me. I had more fun with this than any movie this year, and I said it only because I saw this alone, but I still laughed as much as I laughed while watching The Greasy Strangler.
Wow.
This was so stupid. This is the greatest we know it's stupid movie I've seen ever.
Wow. I have to check that out too. Good God.
Yes.
15 minutes arguing about a fucking bagel.
Yeah, it goes by quick. Trust me.
Wow.
Because you're just so baffled that this is happening that
this
you
is
don't
a movie.
even
Are
realize.
we watching a movie right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this really happening? Like, you're questioning reality.
Holy shit. Well, how do I follow up my one? My favorite horror movie of 2016 was something we already covered, and that was The Green Room. How do I say this? I love the fucking Green Room. It was, the tension was almost palpable. The violence was in your face and visceral to the point that it was almost nightmarish.
Yes.
The setting, the plot is very realistic, especially with a Trump presidency happening right now. It was right up my alley.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in that Nightmare Logic makes VHS like Night Noir, but it was, I really, really loved it because it was what horror needed to get to. Because we had all the fun monster horror in 2015. Now it's time for the real world in your face shit. And Green Room is that by definition.
Yeah.
And I have to say I loved Green Room. #1 movie.
Fantastic. So. There was a big Q&A with Jeremy Saulnier on Letterboxd this year.
Oh, there was.
He answered like 80 questions from people.
Okay.
And very nice guy, I can say. Explained that he does have a punk background, so he does know everything that was going on when he was making this. So that's why it's so accurate. He was from there, which is great to know. And I'm very happy to hear that ended up being your #1 because that's much. We never expect to see like human horror as like a top spot.
Yeah.
But
normally
really,
horror fans would put a supernatural slasher or a monster or something. Me, it's no, what's more horrifying right now than a bunch of guys that are extremists and they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm bravo for that choice. I'm glad that nothing took it down.
No, nothing took
I'm
it
sure
down.
you had some...
Autopsy of Jane Doe came very close to taking it down, but I thought, you know what? We've seen plenty of supernatural horror films. When was the last time we saw a neo-Nazi film that actually scared you?
Yeah.
So that's why I made it my #1. So,
Cool.
So folks, that was our top 13 horror films of 2016.
I have to ask you one question.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm sorry, I have you on the spot here.
What?
I need to know your least favorite films now.
Oh, wow. My least favorite horror films? I don't even have them in my memory bank for my least favorite horror films
Like,
of the year.
what's one film that you saw this year that was just like, this left an impression on me as like the one film I wish I had not seen now?
Oh, fuck. I'm trying to think. Name me some bad horror films, and I'll probably... Because I have bad normal movies in my head. Like, if I had to do a top 5 worst normal horror... or worst normal movies of 2016, Batman vs. Superman and Ghostbusters and Suicide Squad would be all 5 of them somehow.
Yeah.
But name me some bad horror movies, and I'll probably think, yeah, that one was shit.
Okay. You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. Carnage Park.
Boring. Not bad, but boring.
Okay. Did you see Regression?
No.
Why do I even say this one?
Why?
Why should I even... I'll
Let
say
me read it. I'll read
Sharknado 4.
No, come on. After I just spilled my love for Shallows, come on. Yeah.
I mean, I know it wouldn't make your list, but...
No, God, no.
Okay, Ghost Team.
You know what? I didn't hate Ghost Team as much as you did, but after I was done watching it, I was like, it's a movie.
Okay.
It's a movie. Yeah.
And then my fifth one is a film that... you know what? It shouldn't even be on this list, because I didn't hate it.
Okay.
I put it on here... Oh, by accident.
Yeah.
This should have been into my honorable mentions.
Oh, okay.
Do you ever hear of the film Even Lambs Have Teeth?
No, I never heard of it.
That is a rape and revenge film,
Okay. Not my cup of tea.
but it's where the women are held captive as basically slaves to that, and then break out.
Okay.
So it's not the whole rape and then I'm going to find you in the city somewhere.
Oh, it's not like an I Spit on Your Grave.
No.
Okay.
This is different. Honestly, I Spit on Your Grave is better.
Okay.
Obviously.
All
But
right. Yeah.
that was one that was going to be a possible mention but didn't make that.
Okay. What was your biggest disappointment in the horror field of last year? One that you had a lot of hope for, and then you were like, oh, okay.
The Neon Demon.
Okay, that...
Because,
for me,
like, I still love the technical qualities of this movie,
Yeah.
but it just... It gave me a big fuck you.
Okay.
In halfway through it when I was so engrossed in this very... not relatable, obviously, but
Yeah.
this understandable, torturous sequence of transformation, you know? She becomes someone she should have never been. And it was the end of her. But it was the end of her because now you found out everyone's cannibals.
Yeah, it has a
You know?
weird cannibal
So
ending
it's just
to
kind of
that
like,
film.
okay, I was getting close to really loving this, you know?
Yeah. For me, my biggest disappointment of the year was actually, I hate to say this because we saw it at Horrible Imaginings, but actually Beyond the Gates.
Beyond the Gates.
I had a lot of hopes for Beyond the Gates, and then I was like, oh, well, at least the acting was okay.
Yeah. You know?
The acting was good. You know, the acting was... Oh, and also Blair Witch.
I didn't even see that.
Blair Witch was literally a remake of the first one.
Really?
You were watching the same movie, but with some weird alien thing in the middle of it.
Alien?
I'm not kidding.
They pulled they pulled an Indiana Jones 4?
I would technically say that, yes. Also, Origin Ouija 2. Everybody fucking loved Ouija 2. I was all like, well, it's Mike Flanagan and it's adult characters instead of teenagers. It's gonna be better than the first one. And then I watched it saying, this is every fucking generic Blumhouse ghost movie jump scare every 5 fucking minutes. I was like, God, I was disappointed in that one. So
Oh, another one that was a disappointment for me
yeah.
was Eyes of My Mother.
Oh, yeah. I watched Eyes of My Mother and I was like, okay, I get it. It's an art house serial killer movie where the serial killer's a girl.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah, that's all it is. It tries really hard to be more than that. To me, Eyes of My Mother is the style no substance film of the year.
Oh.
Not
okay.
Neon Demon. People are wrong when they say that. There was a point to that. And I still agree. Yeah, there was a good point to that. Eyes of My Mother was a simple generic plot that had no motive behind it other than to shock you. And they film it like it's an art film as if it's supposed to be something greater than it is.
Yeah.
It's not.
You know what's another case? That was me and The Abattoir. But a different.
didn't see it.
The Abattoir was like, oh my god, it's a ghost movie where a guy's constructing haunted houses from all these different haunted rooms. And then I watched it and I was like, this movie is mean-spirited for the sake of being mean-spirited with nothing really behind it.
Sure.
It's like, you ever watch those movies where you can tell that the director is just trying to be mean-spirited with no substance behind it?
Oh, yeah.
That was The Abattoir. That was 90 minutes of The Abattoir. And
Got
I
it.
was kind of disappointed with that one.
Okay.
Another movie that everybody freaking hated, and I can understand why everybody hated this horror movie last year, And for me, it wasn't that bad, but it was far from the man's best work was 31.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It wasn't this giant shit show that everybody made it out to be, but it certainly wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Richard Brake killed it in that movie as Doomhead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He fucking did an
I mean, I don't know why I'm
job.
agreeing. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
But
He does such an amazing job in that movie, but everything else about the movie was like, it could have been so much better. It could have been so much more, you know?
I can't help it. I have to say it.
What?
The monster sucks, okay? The monster sucks. Every horror website says it's great. Where is it great at? It's generic.
Wait.
It's super generic.
Take it away, Sterling.
The Monster is the most generic, highly recommended horror film of 2016, and I am baffled as to why. Yes, there is a metaphor for this monster being...
Drug use and bad parenting.
Yes, just everything bad for a child as small as her, yet when it's beaten over your face so often, to the point where I think the director thinks we're all that stupid, that I lose respect for any meaning it might have had at going into it. The acting is great. It's great. One other thing I will give the film, probably has the most brutal death scene of the whole year. But that's all I can say. I mean, Bone Tomahawk had the most brutal death of last year, and that film was fantastic because it was so original. It took a genre and merged it with another that you would never think would work. With this film, we have the monster film, which is apparently rejuvenated because of it. No. Because it has one monster that's basically a giant hairless werewolf thing that kills a couple people.
I think 4 at most.
Yeah.
4 at most, yeah.
Yeah. This is... the only thing that has me baffled is the fact that this is considered such a highly regarded film now. People apparently, I don't see how this is really that substantial. This feels like a very, very high-quality Chiller original. Honestly. Technical-wise, high quality.
It's a better version of their already... The Chiller already made a movie with that exact same monster called Animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, starring Nickelodeon actresses who do a very good job at keeping me entertained, at least. This film, no. I hate the main character. I don't even like the daughter because she's not giving me a reason to feel like you don't deserve the abuse.
Yeah.
Of course you don't deserve the abuse, but you're still not a likable person.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, she's made you a mean person because she's a horrible mom. But you could redeem yourself earlier on, but instead you choose to basically throw negativity out to the audience. So this was...
Your biggest disappointment.
That was my biggest disappointment. I couldn't... I was holding it back.
Okay.
I can't. Neon Demon's not my biggest disappointment whatsoever. Neon Demon's a beautiful fucking movie. Yeah. Just not my cup of tea with the second half. This movie, though, The Monster, I didn't like either half. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
This was... It's just the hype. This was the hype train wreck for me this year. You know? So, that's it.
All right. There was 2 movies we didn't mention from last year that got a little bit of buzz, and that was Lights Out and Conjuring 2.
Yeah.
It seems like we didn't hate it. We didn't love it. It's there. We're tired of ghost movies. Move on.
We're
tired of ghost movies. Move on.
Yeah, didn't hate either, but neither was something new.
The only ghost movie from the last couple of years that you and me both really liked was We Are Still Here, because it did everything opposite of what these other ghost movies are doing.
Yeah, it's original.
Yes,
to an
it's
extent.
original.
To an extent.
To an
It's
extent.
not original. It's not original, but it's original if they call it ghosts and back it up. That's the thing that saves it for me.
Yeah.
That these are ghosts, not faulty zombies.
Yes.
You know? That's cool. Other than that, though, if it weren't for that, it would have kind of been just... I would have seen it for Barbara Crampton, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know?
Yeah, pretty much. But...
I mean, obviously, you know...
So 2000.
We also say that we saw it for Larry Fessenden because he's not in anything anymore.
He's in everything. Yeah,
he hasn't been in a movie in years.
I know.
Anyway,
but,
so
no, that's our list of 2016. It was a year of movies. So we have our hopes for 2017. Now, usually in this part of the podcast, we would give out a plug, but this time instead we have to get a little bit more dreary and say our memories and goodbyes to a horror website that we have both loved since 2006, 2007 for me. Apparently, Dread Central might be closing its doors or its website in the next coming of months, and that pains both of us. I've been going on Dread Central almost every day since 2007 or 2008, and I've been listening to their Dinner for Fiends podcast and laughing my ass off to Scott Foy and Uncle Creepy for years now. And, you know, when they did the whole Save Dread Central thing last month in December, I donated almost $5 a month, and I was like, yeah, they made $2,000 a month. They're going to be saved. And I was like, nope, their servers need $6,000 a month. Wow. It's literally like having a friend have cancer, and like they're in a cancer ward, and you know they're out, and you're like, oh fuck, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's that slow. You have to kind of accept what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know? And the shitty thing is the horror film that I was a part of, Dysmorphia, that I directed several segments for and the wraparound for, that's out on DVD right now. I asked Uncle Creepy, and he did a story for it on Dread Central. And he was so heartfelt, saying, I love it when a fan goes out and actually makes something themselves, and that's James Coker. And I was like, holy fuck, thank you. That's on there. Before the website gets shut down, I have to grab that webpage and like print it up as like a poster and stuff, you know. Absolutely. And download my favorite episodes of Dinner for Fiends, too.
Yeah.
My only hope for Dread Central, if it's going under, is that I hope Uncle Creepy, Scott Foy, Matt Feeney, all the guys move on to something even better and even bigger.
I have hope that they will. We have to remember that after... I'll use this example.
Yeah.
After G4 shot itself in the foot...
Yeah.
All the people who meant anything and who were still wanting to give stuff to their fan base... went on to make their own things, such as The Attack on Twitch, where that Kevin Pereira hosts, which he has all the other hosts make general, you know, visitations as guests, minus Olivia Munn, because she doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And this has strengthened their fan base even more now, because they have no strings attached to them.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want. Not that Dread Central does at all, you know, have any strings. They pull their own strings.
Yeah, they do.
I just think... if anything changes, it'll be just a change, not an ending. They're going to create a new thing that's basically the same thing, but at a smaller stature, but smaller as in it feels more personal now.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to happen. And if it does, I'll be on board as I am now. So.
I will too. I don't ever want to ever lose the online comedy presence of Uncle Creepy and Scott Foy.
Yes.
So that concludes the end of our podcast. Hopefully we will get this up on SoundCloud and maybe a few other formats too. Anything else you want to say before we're out, Sterling?
I just want to say, I started a website since last we talked.
Oh, snap.
The Micro Cinema Savant is a blog on WordPress that I am currently in charge of, and been reviewing quite a few short horror film screeners lately, so you can go up and check those out. It's trailers and enough info that you can possibly need. Is attached to all of them as well, including links to their Facebook and Twitter pages if you want to follow them for extra updates. A lot of these are not available yet. They're still in the festival circuit, so they're still relevant to go check out while you can.
Yeah.
And if you have any films of your own that you would like an extra review of for publicity, please head over to microcinemasavant.com.
All right.
There is a box where you can submit your film to be reviewed. I'm very open-minded. I do this just because whenever I was out looking for areas and sites to review my films, I couldn't find enough.
Yeah.
Or at least not enough that wouldn't charge $100.
Oof.
I do it for free because I want to, because I would have liked that service to be around for me.
Yeah.
So please, if you feel like it, do it. That's all I gotta say.
And that has reminded me, don't forget to check out the Hidden Horrors You Must Hear WordPress blog that we still sometimes write for. And don't forget to also check out the Hidden Horrors YouTube series, too.
Yes.
That which has me reviewing several obscure horror films and even showing clips from those several horror films, too. It's a fun little show that I plan on getting a little bit bigger and a little bit more crazy and funny, too.
Yes.
So check that out on the YouTube page, Hidden Horrors You Must See. And also don't forget to look up the WordPress blog, too.
Yes.
And this is James J. Coker.
And Sterling Anno.
Signing off.
Welcome to the slaughterhouse where you pay to stay alive. But now I shut up and so you shut up, never come inside. You know there's no place to run, you know there's no place to hide. Deep inside the slaughterhouse you begin to lose your mind. You begin to lose your mind. shadow creeps up behind you. You'll feel the terror creep